Futures back in negative territory once again this morning as we extend declines from last week, with tech stocks leading once again back to the downside. Multi-year high for the U.S. 10-year this morning, 1.81 last I checked. Remember, we finished the month last month at 1.51, so in 1 week up pretty substantially on the U.S. 10-year. So we'll have a look at the overall market here. As I said, continuing to move back to the downside with the NASDAQ leading the way. On Friday, the S&P was down 0.4%. If you remember, the NASDAQ 0.9. The Dow basically flat. At the end of the day, it was lost 4 points. Yeah, as I said, the 10-year in focus today, 1.81. Currently, that's up from 1.51 at the end of last month, and its highest level in more than a year. Retailers in focus as well. We'll have a look at Lululemon shares down substantially here. Premarket, after they cut their Q4 forecast. Beyond Meat, on the other hand, looking to extend gains from last week after Pizza Hut in this country said they're going to add their products to Pizza Hut for the entire country, and that's permanent. That's not a test any longer. Take-Two obviously picking up Zynga for $12 billion cash and stock. So we'll talk about that as well. It's Monday, January 10th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. We will get the board up there in a second for you to see some red numbers once again. Right across the board, very negative, 0.6 for the S&P, 0.3 for the Dow, 1.14 to the downside for the NASDAQ. Look at cryptos continuing to slide at the bottom there as well. Ethereum 6.25%. Off on the day so far after a pretty negative weekend as well. So here we go. Once again, it's Monday. It is basically the same story as we were talking about back on Friday, guys. Good morning. Going to be an interesting one here. Selling accelerating to the downside here as we get closer to the open.
Yeah, buckle up. And first we get that disappointing jobs number that I guess people were reading in both directions. We're looking at Tesla below $1,000 today, and there was a lot of big movement that I think we'll be trading off of on Friday. Like Lucid had that crazy run, so they should be in play as well. Look, it's just, the new environment's sort of here, and Goldman was out with a note now. They're saying that there could be, they think, 4 hikes this year, right? So like the 3 is sort of in stone, and now you're going to have the runoff and 4 potential hikes this year. It's going to shock some markets. It's going to shock some of the tech stocks and some of the growth stocks, and that's the environment we're in. But we're here to trade, and there's going to be enough to trade. So for the day traders in the short term, we're going to be able to find opportunities in this kind of an environment. I saw in the chat someone was saying Raiders Chargers, one of the greatest games of all time, making me wish I'd actually bothered to watch that game. I'm just happy. My Bills.
It was too late. It was too late for you.
You know me. I'm not staying up that late. It can't happen.
You're not staying that late.
It's not happening.
But yeah, what a great game, and congratulations to everybody that made the playoffs. And now we see that it's going to be Bills Patriots. So, and then I don't know how the Chiefs. Chiefs Pittsburgh almost seems like, although Pittsburgh went into Buffalo and beat them in Buffalo. So I think Big Ben's days. Although what a great career, obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. I would assume Big Ben Roethlisberger. I think there's only 7. Is there only 7 quarterbacks that have won 2 Super Bowls? Well, anyways, he's one of them. So there you go. And then Aaron Rodgers will win his second this year. But WFC here, look at the banks. That's another name. If you want to hide somewhere, look. From $48 last week up to $55. I don't think you can hide here anymore. But that was an absolute monster move for WFC, and looking again to take it out. Unfortunately, I can't zoom out too much because our stocks are all our charts are messed up here on the banks. But Morgan Stanley, the same thing again. All these bank stocks just continue to move higher. So if you did heed, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not a great chart here for us because we have these wicks down here. But, it's been a bottom here of about 100, and it's again another 104 print today for Morgan Stanley. So again, the banks and then some of the industrials, I'm pretty sure. I can just check Caterpillar. Where were we? 224. Yeah, so 223 still making moves to the upside. And then today, obviously, in what's one of the greatest companies in mankind history, Lululemon goes down to $333 today and change. And again, I'm pretty sure we all know why this is such a great company. But $480 from the high in November. That's not even that long ago, all the way down to 331. I have no idea why my chart's not loading back here, but we'll trade some Lululemon today as well as they continue to disappoint and give us bad fourth quarter and forward-looking statements today. So not great for Lululemon down here at 330, down another 6.5 today. So just been a nasty run for some of these retailers, or this is not a retailer, sorry, athletic wear, apparels, and just all apparel. Supply chain continues to hit the biggest companies. So Lululemon down, and then my Nike down as well. Just over the last couple weeks, Nike's been getting killed as well. So there's really nowhere to hide here unless you are in the banks or in some of these industrials. We can check out some gold, some mining. Energy's been great too, actually.
Zenga,
so, yeah, Zenga. Yeah, obviously everyone knew Zenga was going to get bought out, so that's a big move as well. So, yeah. Brennan, should be a fun one.
Yeah, going to be interesting. Lululemon pointing to supply chain issues for their cut on Q4. Speaking of cut, update quickly on my range stove, guys, because at last I updated, it was the beginning of March. They've now stopped delaying it by months, and they're now only delaying it by days. So instead of March 1st, it's now March 15th. That was an update on the weekend I got. And the best part is it's coming from Pennsylvania, which is, I don't know, a weekend road trip away for us. So I could easily, anyways, I could go on about this forever. So supply chain issues continue for some of the retailers. Unfortunately, Miss V is off once again today, still under the weather. We wish her well. Can't wait to get her back in the seat next to me. Yeah, she is in the chat going to be helping us out today. We hope you are feeling better today, Miss V. Let's jump into a few things to know here in the pre-market, guys. Ocugen shares popping up here. Their partner on their COVID-19 vaccine, Bharat Biotech, out with some data on their booster dose today. So OCGN, worth a note here. I mean, not a lot of volume here. It's interesting. Neil, you and I were kind of saying there just before we came on, volume across the board on some of these names pretty light today.
Yeah, like some of the small caps, like you'd see, like usually you see like a news and a bit of a pop on Ocugen. There'd be close to 1 million shares in the morning, maybe some interest in it. And some of these other small caps are doing pretty light volume. I don't know, and it could be the course of the start of the year. People are slow to get the money in, or who knows. But it makes me a little bit more bearish on the gappers, right? Because when they don't have volume to follow through, then a lot of times they can be weak. And I know it's kind of not saying much to say I'm bearish on some of the gappers, I suppose, but Ocugen's going to fall into that category. I don't think you want to dive into names that don't have any kind of volume. You're already seeing a sell-off, like gap up, sell off on very, very light vol. You need to see something I need to see something extraordinary to try to come in here. If we're going to get a market bounce, there's going to be way better places to try to get trades and trying to fight yourself in some of these small caps unless there's volume. Like this RVPH, which is on the watch list, that's got some volume behind it. For anyone that's trading Zynga, I think I mentioned, someone was asking in the chat, they're like, why isn't it at that 986? Just understand that deal is cash and stock. So that actually could move today. But Ocugen, $4, which I just happened to notice has a wick off bottom beneath it here from last week, and then was able to hold support. That could be interesting. Like, give me round dollar levels where maybe you can get a scalp trade off of them, and those could be in play for you. But it's usually a stock that you'd fade anyways when it makes a bit of a pop. You can see what it does last time it did so. But like I said, volume, less than 500,000 poop. And Raul, I just saw this right now. Do I think Hour looks like a good short right now? I was actually watching Hour. There's not a lot of volume on this. This is an IPO from last week. But if you look at this level right here, it's about like 735 or so. That will support on Friday. Obviously the first day of trade for Hour, new IPO, and it's just basically barcoding support off of that and bouncing every single time. There's no level there, and the volume is really, really tight as well. Not a stock I would want to be trading in the pre-market. After it opens, it could get interesting, but that's the level to watch, 735. That breaks, could get spicy.
Yeah, there's not too much volume across the board on a lot of names, but again, Microsoft's going to be down to 310 here, so this is going to be another level where you're well off the 50-period moving average. We can call up Google, we can call up Apple. I think that instead of buying some of these other names that you're sort of trying to hit home runs, right now might be a good opportunity to start. And we talked about this throughout all last week. I started with Salesforce and Shopify. Those are brand new positions for me, and I'm wondering about adding to some of these other big guys right now, including Microsoft down here, right into some of these levels here, 295, 300. That's absolutely fantastic. Like, and again, I don't know why I guess it's because I'm not zoomed back enough here, but you know, you're well off the 50-period moving average here for a stock like Microsoft, and I think the same thing. And you might not want to, again, a lot of us are already in tech, so we're like suffering through, that's still Microsoft, oh my God, come on. We're still suffering through some of these dips, but again, when you're gonna get the NASDAQ continuing to go down like 1.5%, even more on some days, you know, nothing wrong with starting to nibble into a stock like a Google that's back to October levels, like a Microsoft that's back to these levels. I think if you can wait on an NVIDIA or an AMD, they just seem to be moving right now to the beat of their own drum. Like, I can't believe AMD and NVIDIA are down as far as they are. And then CRM closing that Slack deal right back. I mean, this is actually, it's been getting hit as well, but CRM right in, like, they closed the deal, it rips to 315, and then just in the last little while, like 315 back in November for Salesforce down to 225. So I know these are names that I've already talked about and that I've already been buying, but I bought this at 240. I think it was almost 240 exactly. So down here to 225, possibly more room to run, now down to the downside. But I think some of these names start to nibble in, man, and I just think that you won't be wrong in the long run, but there still may be some more toughness to come. And we talked about the NASDAQ last week going down that 3, 4, 5%, and we're getting very, very close to that again, especially after a 1% drop here today. So we'll see, but like 400, you know, you take off, I guess 10% would be $40, right? So you're getting very, very close. Like if you talked about 400 down that 5%, I mean, you're going to get close to that 360, 370 level. So, you know, right now, if you're thinking that, hey, maybe we are going to see that 5% move down, wait for one more flush, and then it might be time to pick some up. So anybody that has a little cash in here for the long run, I think you can't go wrong picking up the Qs, the Spiders, or some of these high-quality tech stocks right now. It seems like they're just getting killed a little bit too much for me.
Some of the vaccine names worth watching. Moderna CEO on CNBC early on this morning. We'll talk about that coming up here. But some more data just coming out. JP Morgan Healthcare Conference on right now. Moderna CEO on that saying that people 50 and above, immunocompromised and other high-risk groups may need an annual shot. I mean, nothing we didn't already know here. J&J, we'll look at Moderna, but I want to mention J&J here as well. There was a headline that just came out with Microsoft. So J&J, medical devices companies teaming up with Microsoft to further enable their digital surgery solutions. So huge day on Friday, guys, for J&J, back to 174.
Yeah, like this, like you talk about places to hide or places to find some value. There was a sell-off, I think, for the last few sessions that I don't think really captured J&J in some of healthcare. But if you looked at the sort of healthcare names that were pulling back, they're probably the ones with a little bit of value. Like the valuations weren't quite as juicy there. J&J's been a decent place to hide. I think it's the kind of thing, if you don't have any in your portfolio, you want to grab. It's actually in the midst of a little bit of a break. I think it runs into some resistance at 175 here. It's not necessarily, look, J&J's probably not always going to be a momentum stock, but there has been a run in some of these, I guess, more boring names here. And I know it's slowed down a little bit, but you have to have, again, I'm not saying it's the most exciting thing in the world, but usually you want something like this in your portfolio. As far as the vaccine names go, like specifically, the news that comes from Moderna, we'll probably talk a little bit more about it. It just feels like that momentum, everyone already is generally accepting that, okay, we're going to need boosters and this isn't going anywhere, and that money's going to get made. So I think a lot of that is priced in, and maybe we're not going to see the same spikes off of news like that that we did in the past. But certainly, J&J, I think they're a good company, and definitely a good business in the midst of a tiny breakout. If this was doing volume today, like it actually is a tradable setup, but I see 3,900 shares traded for J&J, and it's not going to be a big time mover for you. I think that's the kind of name that you can buy on dips pretty safely, especially when one of these gets range round, like you can buy on dips pretty safely, and then understand that when the market pulls back, it's not going to be as severe for you in a name like this. But not much of a day trade here, although Moderna on the other end of the coin. Moderna is going to have day trades because that's a little more volatile.
I love J&J. I mean, I've been a buyer of J&J for a very, very long time. It's not a huge percentage of the portfolio, but you can't ignore its 2.44% dividend yield. So I think that's something that you have to definitely look at here. Another big dividend yield is AbbVie. I absolutely love this name. This keeps getting upgraded all the time. This has been a monster. I loaded up this name like crazy at $60 down in the dumpster there of COVID. And, you know, again, just a monster name, continues to work. Look at AbbVie over the last little while. It's just rocking and rolling. It's almost 5% dividend. It's 4.18% dividend right now. This monster continues to work. A lot in the pipeline here. Botox, so on and so forth. Botox is a sneaky play. It wasn't Allergan. Whoever it was, maybe it was Allergan, the big Botox company that AbbVie took out. But 135 here, 136, nice little high side move for AbbVie. So I think if you want to get into something, this name continues to have some momentum. Forward PE of only 9, so this is a great stock. Like some of these PEs we're talking about, like Palantir's is minus 81. You know, I mean, like this is a real company here. AbbVie, J&J, Pfizer. Oh, and you talked about that yearly shot. It just reminds me now, honestly, and I think this is what we're going to have to be in. And I'm no doctor, and I don't know if these guys at this J&J healthcare conference are talking up their own book or not, like people that in Moderna saying, yeah, you're going to need shots. But I just look at this now, honestly, with Omicron, Flumicron, there's a few other names. Deltacron, that's the new one as well. That it looks like there's going to be something cron for a very, very long time now. And I just kind of look at it like flu shots. I mean, people get flu shots every single year, right? So, and I kind of think that may be whether or not, you know, sheep, whatever you want to say about the shots, things like that. This is not a show to talk about whether or not you should get vaccinated or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if there is some sort of a recommendation for a yearly shot, you know, every couple years, something like that. And what they were saying is once you get above 50, maybe it's time for more shots. So, wow, I mean, I feel silly saying that stuff because I don't really know enough about it. But if that's the case, then it does put a little bit of a floor for Moderna, especially if they're going to be the ones producing said shots. So maybe you do get a nice little buying opportunity. I'd like to see Moderna dip a little bit more, but you know, around this 190, 200 level might be a good buy for Moderna, especially if we are going to have to keep hearing these recommendations of more and more shots, Brandon.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on both of those, obviously. That healthcare conference going on right now after those comments came out earlier on CNBC. I wanted to mention Robinhood quickly, guys, down here this morning. I mean, we can talk about the crypto angle here, but 2.7% for Robinhood. It was Piper Sandler cutting their price target on Robinhood to a street low today. This is already at, obviously, lows, guys, for Hood.
Like, I mean, you have several factors. I mean, you already mentioned one with crypto in the midst of a bit of a pullback. So that's factor one for Robinhood. Factor two is the Fed valuations, rates going up. Sort of factor three for them would be like it's actually part of the Fed too, because if the money, if stimulus money comes out of the economy in general, you know, it's what drove assets to the upside. So a lot of the bull runs we get are based on that, and that's always a positive for new investors and getting money into the markets, and that was definitely going to be good for Robinhood. So you have all of that, and then you throw in what is not an incredibly attractive looking chart. It hasn't even given you much of a consolidation just yet. Like it tried in December, and then we made fresh lows here just recently, and it's probably going to have to do the same thing again. I'm not a gigantic fan. If I had to pick, I like Coinbase because I think that's a little bit more. It's a direct play. I think on crypto, whereas you have this weird ancillary play here with Robinhood, and their account sizes are just incredibly tiny. You try to compare it to like a Schwab or something like that, and I just don't necessarily see where this is going to work for them in the short term. They're exactly the kind of name that's going to get beaten up here, and there hasn't been a heck of a lot on the chart or the daily to even get you too excited. Even like this, even the bottom that we put in last week. Yeah, I mean, $15. If it would have test and hold 15 on a dime and I saw a size buyer for whatever reason, sure, maybe there'd be a trade in. But shorting this on fades when it finds resistance, if you look here, I always kick myself. It's like, look at the level up here at 1875.19. Like that was multiple days where you could have had easy fades off that level and it never even broke 19 even. So I kind of look back and I'm saying, okay, 1750 looks like that. There's a chance 1650 turns into that this week. It's only touched there once since falling to the downside, but that's what I'm looking for on Robinhood, because that in December, there probably wasn't an easier trade than short every single pop and short every single resistance on Robinhood. And I think that could be a sort of a theme. And I'm always looking for different types of names. I don't think I've traded Hood in about half a month.
Just get it all over with and just buy Coinbase. Like honestly, Robinhood, I think if you want to get some exposure to this spot, I was lucky enough to get out of some Coinbase, but obviously not all of it, or else we'd be really, really happy. But Coinbase is right down here to 225 again, right at the bottom. It's been an absolute falling knife. And again, like I know what people, I was just reading some comments on the chat. And it's not like I think this is only a long market. I'm just thinking like if you do have a longer term perspective here, some of these prices, although can Coinbase go lower? Of course it can. I don't even want to check what the PE is on this one. They don't earn anything. So what's the point of even checking it out? But I mean, some of these names just continue to fall like a Robinhood. I just think Coinbase has more of a street recognition than Robinhood. Robinhood, I think the average account on Robinhood is like $400 to $500, and that's not going to fly. Obviously, they're not going to be getting too much, cash from that, especially, with their free trading and things like that. And then now you get people. No one's excited about Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or anything like that anymore. And when that's 38 or 39% of your revenues from those two coins, you're not going to get a good bump from a stock like a Robinhood, let alone a Coinbase. So I think there's still problems here. And obviously, you have a stock like Hut that I've been trying to buy as well, that I've been buying, but not recently anyways, down here where it's just fall. I think the last buy, I was buying it in Canadian dollars, but I think it's right around here, $7.58, and then now maybe a little bit, again, it's something, I'll find in Canadian, but maybe it's around $7.50, something like that in the US side, and now you're even falling even further as many of these altcoins continue to fall today, with crypto getting basically destroyed. I mean, we're going to go over and do some back and forth here with some upgrades and downgrades. But as you can see here, just Bitcoin down. This is not even updated. I had 41,000 and change here. There it is, 40,900, 3,000 flat almost for Ethereum. Forget about Tether. That's another thing that could come falling down. If you listen to some people, Solana 135 and going down, Cardano 112. Ripple 73 cents. So yeah, there's really nothing. I mean, look at these 7 days here. And everyone's going to say, I told you crypto was a scam. You're still up thousands of percent on many of these coins year over year, but it's been a nasty 7-day movement here in the crypto space, down 20+%. So hey, if you are a Robinhood account holder or whatever, do not open up your account, because if you hold crypto there or any of these other, I was going to say shit coins, but really there's so many stocks that are in that same kind of category right now, like a Clover, like Open Door, like a lot of these recent IPOs, that it's just a nasty market right now. So let's just move on and go over to Brendan and see who's been upgraded and downgraded.
Yeah, a few notable ones, guys, to throw out there this morning. Unity Software, interesting. BTIG with a upgrade and price target increase on Unity today, so we'll watch that. It is negative so far. Dell, KB Homes, the housing sector, home builders in general, pretty negative last week. So we'll see if we get a bounce. XL Energy, Nike, Chegg, Airbnb. Interesting look this morning as well. Pretty active in the pre-market, and LVS at the bottom there.
Yeah, Airbnb catching the Piper Sandler downgrade there, and Friday was a pretty good day for Airbnb, but it's been a bit of a rough ride, and they just had this pullback off 175. Obviously, is a bit of a reopen play. I think you have a little bit of that going on for them. I like the business. I like the concept, and sometimes story isn't enough, I guess, and we're in an environment now, or at least we're probably going to be in the next couple of years, where story isn't going to be enough. But at some point, this is going to get interesting to pick up. Because it's actually on the move here, like anything moving more than a couple of percentage points there, that's a big cap, you're going to want to be watching today. And I think we're looking at this I'm looking at this 164. One of the things that I sort of started looking at, like maybe in the last quarter, was if there was a really significant level, And you look here, like look at the 164 support. It holds support for about a week and a half or so. And then when it gets broken, it's immediate resistance. Then you get 1 day of price action where it essentially tries to break that level. And then you get a downgrade and then it gaps below it. It's almost as if, hey, forget about that. Like that almost didn't happen. Throw it away and you go right back to the well at that 64. So that's a bit of a pop and fade for me. Here, Airbnb 160, we're like $3 away from that. I only want to short it off of that level. But that's the kind of thing that I want to be able to see here. Like it's a clear, like failed nothing burger break in the afternoon, and then you're acting like it didn't happen here. So I just filed that away as resistance. You have the downgrade to boot as well. The market comes in looking weak. Now overall, it's not saying anything necessarily bad about the company. I do think they're going to work, and maybe there's a chance to pick this one up. Well, my 200 period, you have to zoom back even further because that's not going to come up just yet. There we go. Like you just broke that 200 period to the downside, like at these levels here, and I think you could work back into 150 where there is support. So I'm looking for that fade, although we're $3 away from any kind of a reasonable entry point.
Oh man, yeah, Airbnb. I mean, I saw Nike on the list as well there for a downgrade, and this is another name that we've bought. I think it continues to work in this environment, but it definitely hasn't in the last 2 weeks. So you're down to the 200 period again, trying to test the level that we bought it at, 145. I think this is just a hold, not a buy right now, as Nike gets downgraded. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, supply chain going to be some worries here for this name. Continues to make moves lower. I think you can buy this down here, but again, you know, another name to look at when it's time to bottom pick. And I don't know if that time is now. We did put it on and welcome everybody to the show again here today on the sticky note today, guys. Please retweet this. We'll put it up again. I have a bunch of short names on here that we're looking at. I think Lucid and Rivian continue to be good shorts, and we'll talk about those. I'm still looking to go short on DraftKings. We're still looking to see what happens here with Tilray. And I'm trying to buy a couple of these names, though. NIO, AMC, and Ford. A couple names here that are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names on the sticky note. Already 33 retweets and 64 likes. I will answer. Ooh, okay, I got to answer some of these questions on here as well, as we still have a half hour to go. But here's the sticky note. Definitely have a chance to see this. We're going to go over a few names that are on the watch list, tradertv.live. But, you know, can't go wrong having more looks at this. And again, retweet it. The more people that see this, you know, the more maybe they'll have the same ideas as us, and we'll see what happens with that. So we'll keep going on that. But I did call up Lululemon again, and I think that they're going to help, oopsies, LULU, they're going to help lead this sort of wreck to the downside in some of these apparel names. You can also look at Under Armour as another name here that could possibly get looked at. But weren't we just at 330 for Lululemon? Yeah, so there it is. A nice little bounce up. I mean, still 115,000 shares. Not fantastic, but hey, maybe that 7% was a bit too much. A quick look at the imbalance locator before we throw it back to Brendan. We'll see what? Okay. Whoa, hello. So, I mean, you're never going to see this ever on our show ever again. So if you want to take a screen cap, NFT this right now. There is a huge seller. This is all of these shares, basically, right here. 6.3 million shares. Hello, DD, on the offer of DD. So, wow, big time seller. I mean, seller on Palantir, seller on Casper, buy all the banks. What a surprise there. Seller on AMC, buyer on Baba. But most of these numbers obviously pale in comparison to, is this the last day for DD or something? Like, I don't know what is happening here, but someone just said enough is enough, as DD is at all-time lows right now. And trust me, that order, like 6 million shares, what does DD even do on average? I mean, maybe I can look at
it does, like, it's been doing a lot of volume, yeah, because the deal, like 25 is the average, but I think that's still
a huge,
it's a huge chunk. Huge. Keep in mind, guys, that order, that's a New York book order, so it's not eligible until the stock opens up, right? Like, it's not like you couldn't buy off of that order right now. It will only be eligible once the market opens up to fill on that auction, but that's sizable. You really don't ever. Yeah. I can't actually remember the last time we saw something like that. Yeah, it's been doing 20 million or so. So that's going to be a quarter or so, if not a little bit more, of the size it's going to do on the whole day. And this guy's just sitting here. So what Neil said is true. This is just an offer that's sitting here at 445, but it's also a percentage of this offer is in the market on open. So I think it'll probably just keep following it down, but we'll have to wait. We'll check back on DD, but a monster size here on the level 2 here for DIDI.
I have not seen, guys, a hard and firm date on the last trading day for that, but I'll continue to look here this morning. Don't see anything at first glance on DD. A couple other things of note before we get to Arun. WeWork, not really doing anything in the pre-market. Yeah, remember WeWork? Out with some December sales numbers that were better than expected. Heads up on that. Clover as well, out with pretty good numbers for the start of 25% jump for the start of 22. I mean, it's a week worth of data they're talking about, but an increase of 25% for additions into their plan. I also wanted to mention, Neil, you were asking about this ISIG. When I sat down initially this morning, my first thought was, hey, we don't have any of those crazy low float kind of movers this morning, but here goes ISIG. Remember, 1 million on the float for this. This 30 high up here may come into play here pretty quick.
Yeah, look, it was weird because we were saying there didn't look like anything that was, halt off the open candidate immediately and then could be your big, gainer in the 100% club, whatever adjective you want to use for these names. And ISIG wants to say hold my beer, but keep in mind, like $30 you mentioned here, Brennan, it's already failed a couple of times at that price level. And when I say fail, I mean like just sharp pullbacks. Like if you bought at any one of these days in the morning where it made the run to $30, like each time it's been a good return. This time it's on like another 25 break. It's been a few days in a row. I'm going to go double check to see what pay for short. They're probably really expensive to pay to short this thing, like probably 40 or 50 cents a share. But if it breaks 30 even, that's probably the only way. Like I need it to be a failed break, or it's just trying to get in on a halt. We have a half an hour till the open. This is a name that I'll be watching really closely. If there's a halt trade to be had, I don't mind getting into those. And we'll be looking for it on ISIG, although I've learned my lesson. If it goes in that halt period for 15 seconds and it doesn't halt, I will be trying to manually get out before instead of trying to put a stop order and just letting it break to the downside. I'd rather hit that bid when there's still size on it.
Nice to see, obviously, Clover with a little bit of a bump. I mean, a little bit of volume coming in and a nice bump back to 332. But again, this name is just, like shout out to Chamath again. But what a great recommendation he had on this one, bringing this to market and really giving so much value now to shareholders on Clover. I mean, what a great stock this has been. And of course,
tell us what you really feel.
Yeah, that's a bursting bubble.
Is it even a bubble?
As you go? I don't know. I mean, this is the SPAC, the IPO. I mean, Clover just getting absolutely destroyed. Its all-time bottom is this 312. We were there today once again. I'm not even sure what that news that Brennan just gave was, but all I heard was Clover, and I went over there and expecting it to have popped up. But we'll take the 5.3%. And again, if you guys are sitting here and you're sort of just like trying to bottom pick some of these names, I honestly think like when a stock like this or like a Tilray, and we'll get to that, bumps up like this 4, 5, 6% right now, you might want to just take some off. I'm sure you're waiting for the big home runs, but if you're long any of these names, it's still a shitty environment for a lot of these stocks. Obviously, no growth names, no PE names, names that have yet to make a dollar. Like Clover, we're going to see what happens with it, but down to 330, definitely on my radar now with over 1 million shares. But wow, this name just keeps getting destroyed. Let's check out another one of Chamath's great trades here. Open Door down to 11 and change, so that's down to 120,000 shares or so as well. But that's still Clover. But you might as well, they both look the same. And this is it's not just about him. It's about all these names. There's a lot of names like, my PaySafe was brought to market as well by BFT. That was an absolute horror. And look at this, from 25 bucks cut down to 11 in just a couple months. Look at our SoFi as well, although we saw yesterday SoFi Stadium there down to 13. And this is all-time lows, I think, for SoFi, basically. I didn't think we'd even break 14, but there it is. There's the 14, and there's the break there. Well, I mean, we were trading around here on Friday, but there's the break. It breaks pretty solidly, going to open up around this 1340 area. Like, wow, for SoFi, just not good, man. This was a call of mine for 2022, hoping that it would get off. And then Disney, another one where you're trying to play one a little aggressive, with SoFi can give you that return, and then Disney, when and if it ever loads, has been a nice solid mover in the last couple weeks back to the upside, crossing the 50-period moving average. But wow, I don't even think today's going to be a day to go in there and buy. I know I said you could nibble on some of the high-quality names, but not some of those other ones, man. Like I just say, stay in your lane, trade what you do best, and if you don't need to buy today, like gun to head, why you don't need to do it. So I would say probably hold out. unless you're a Zynga shareholder. And
Zynga shareholders are happy today. Good for them.
Yeah.
50% on Zynga. It was membership growth, Sean, for Clover. So the first week of the year, membership growth. Hey, there's Arun. Hi, Arun. Good morning. The selling continuing here this morning, obviously. I mean, it's not a huge number yet, but it feels a little different this morning.
Yeah, technically, it's not a good situation because we've taken out some key areas, key support levels that have been in place for a while. And I think the way the market's now positioned is that there's a lot of downside activity, or at least downside space available. So what I'm looking to do is fading any move to the upside. I think we can comfortably fade a pop. There's decent support, again, previous support levels that we can use as resistance to kind of work these shorts. So I am looking for the short side. I am hoping that it bounces, because although you may want to play the short side, the prices that we're trading at, it's too far away from these levels that you can really work with. So the risk is too high. So a nice little move to the upside off the open would help kind of bring the risk down on the shorts, and then we can work that short. So what I'm looking for is, first level that I'm looking at on the S&P is 46.90. So anything north of 46.60, I've got some offers already waiting there. So if we can get to 46.60, I'll start working some shorts until we get to 46.90. The big level, though, is going to be 47.35, 47.35, 47.40-ish in that area. That's like the big major. If we break that, then we may kind of maybe turning back around. But for now, 46.90 should be good enough for the first leg of these shorts. And at the same, when you look over at the NASDAQ, it's the same read over there as well. Anything north of 15.5 looks like a short. Remember, we were talking about 15.5, 15.490 as the potential bottom end. We've taken that out this morning. So now anything going up into the 15.5 works well on the short side until we break above 15.735. That's what I'm looking at the top end. So those are the first two legs of the or first leg of the shorts. And as I said, the major level would be 47.35 to 47.40 on the S&P, and then 15.930 on the NASDAQ. So there's two different levels on each of these markets. The first leg should be fine, but if we need to, we can also press into the second leg, or the second level, the bigger level of the two. But I am looking at potential shorts and fading any sort of moves to the upside. So we are down 1.26 on the NASDAQ, just under 2/3 on the S&P. Hopefully we get a move to the upside that we can fade it, and then we can work to the downside. Downside, there really isn't anything new that we can work with. Maybe 46.20 is going to hold on the S&P. It's not as strong as the levels that we've taken out, so I prefer the short, even though we are sitting about 15 points from that bottom end support level. But for me, I think a bounce off the open would be helpful to kind of figure out which way. It helps determine, we already know which way we want to play, or at least the way I want to play. A bounce kind of confirms that, kind of gets some, resetting of any overnight shorts out of the way, and then we can actually join the market after the market opens. But this should be an interesting one, especially as we start the new week, the second week of the new year.
Yeah, important day to have a plan, obviously. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. That is the watch list, guys. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. Absolutely free. Make sure you grab that link from Miss V in the chat again today if you do need that link. I just saw, guys, the NASDAQ now 8% off the record highs. So, lots said already about the tech sector leading this sell-off. Fubo TV out with some full-year revenue numbers just there. 622 million to 627 million expected. Now that's up from prior forecasts. So another name that's just been, wow, $13 from 35. Fubo TV getting a little bit of an uptick there. Let's get into maybe what could have some strength today. And that might be the banks, guys. We saw them pretty strong last week.
Yeah, we were just talking about this because this is a stock that I was half interested, because they had
I don't know what to do.
Fubo had the gambling aspect.
Yeah, they made some deals.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that seems pretty cool. It was pretty interesting, and I kept looking into it and kept being interested in buying it and never pulled the trigger. And now it's like, okay, well, it's on sale. Should you do it now? Look, I can see it. We just talked about does it make sense to start nibbling into some of these? Because you look at the daily, this is exactly where its previous support was. And I remember when I sort of waited on, which is my personal bag hold stock, which is Virgin Galactic, and exactly the same chart. And this is the point I waited for on Virgin Galactic to buy. But Fubo, I don't think I'll be doing it here. Although when you mention it and I brought it up, let's look at last week, 1460. We'll talk about like 1, 2, 3 separate times, even on this news here. That seems like a fadeable level. And I guess if it's going to break a 1460, that could be an interesting little scalp trade into 15. At least the level's obvious on Fubo. It's only done 250,000 shares, so I don't think these numbers seem like they're going to be too gigantic here. But yeah, it's got an interesting level on it. It's just, I feel like you're going to be able to be patient. Like you're getting a lot of these depressed names, but we haven't even had any rate hikes yet. Like we're still in, like 2022 is just beginning, and this is the new environment we're in. So even if we're forward looking, you probably still have some time to be patient, because you could always just wait to catch a bit of a bounce on something like this. But 1460 Fubo, that's fine. Like if it gets to that price level and I'm staring at it trying to break out, I can make a trade off of that level. So I'm glad it got brought to our attention here. But yeah, it's just hard to endorse any of these, right? Like just if you're going to nibble, you find something that's really good that's down 10% already from on a pullback, that is more than the overall market, or maybe a little bit more than its sector, and then pick one of those. Like Fubo obviously doesn't fall into that category.
Okay, yeah. So I want to talk. I mean, you're talking about Fubo there. We'll talk about DraftKings. We'll see if we can rinse and repeat basically the same trade, other than buying it or selling it too early. We had a great short up here near $28. I still want to short DraftKings today, because for some reason it's not down as much as it probably should be. It's only down that 1.65%. Obviously, over the weekend, I saw a lot of love for DraftKings throughout the NFL, and they're just, to me, that's a negative thing. They're spending so much money on consumer acquisition that, I mean, unless that they come out with just a bang-up report, which it won't be this next report, but it's all about the guidance for them. Like, I know they just got New York on board, and I almost just think that that's going to give us some of these opportunities again. Like, people want to buy this name. I think Kathy Wood likes this name as well. And again, they're part of the first movers, right? And, you know, you got DraftKings, you got Penn. There's not too many other ways other than the traditional casinos. MGM's a good one. Caesar's a good one to invest into sports gambling. But for me, I'd rather be in those names because they do have the brick and mortar casino aspect to them. So that's what I like. And honestly, for me, DraftKings here on a 20-minute chart, I'm still going to use that 29 as my level. So we're going to start to build it a little bit earlier, like around this. I already have an offer around this 27.50 area. So if we can start to get short rate here and then try to play it off of any kind of bumps into here, 28.50, 29, something like that. And if we take out 29, which is basically this level right here, then I don't think it's impossible that we see 30, and then maybe I'm just wrong and it continues to go up to the upside. So if I'm going to short anything today, well, I'm going to short a lot of names. We'll talk about Rivian and Lucid and some of those names, but for right now, DraftKings is definitely one that I'm looking at to get into off the open. Let's see if we pop to 27.50. I'm a shorter of DKNG here.
That BBLG, one of the small caps moving around the pre-market here, 3 million float on that, guys, so be careful. Back to 420 is a key level. Wells Fargo, let's talk about the banks. I mentioned Wells Fargo pretty strong once again this morning. Led the market as far as strength is concerned last week. Back to 55 here. It just tried to tick higher, but a lot of these banks looking like this, even with the market lower in the pre-market here.
Yeah, like there's not, like we said, there's not a lot of places you can run and hide when the market is feeling it's not a rug pull, but what goes up sort of must come down. And when the money comes out from the Fed, that's what's going to end up happening. Now, Wells already made a break. So I think we talked about this last week. You have the names that were beaten up more that can probably benefit by raising rates a little bit more, but like Wells Fargo and Bank of America. And then you've got names like Morgan Stanley, which to me have done way better, and I like better. But they have yet to break out, so they're still sitting in the top end of their range. What I do think can happen at some point, because you actually have had a pretty good run on Wells, like if this were to pull right back, I just look right into that previous top and say, okay, that's the level we're going to watch. I was looking at a 55 break at the end of last week. Like it was, if you look at us, we're trying to break through the top here, a couple of points right through 55 even on this name, and then we sort of gap up and are fading back a little bit here on light volume through that 55. So there's some hints that you could be in the midst of a little bit of a failed break. Right now, it's actually trading pennies above that 55 level. I guess if it comes back down to like 54.25, 54.50, I'd look to see if it could consolidate there. But it has some feels of a bit of a failed break after the good run that it's put on. So Wells in particular, I think is a little bit dicey up here. I still think the banks are a good safe place to be, especially for the first Q of the year, even if they have been, I mean, like they've been on a pretty good run, right? So you could say that they had been due for at least a little bit of a pullback. Back in my mind, I am looking for that. You mentioned that BDLG. I just wanted to quickly say that if you're watching that ISIG, it just pulled back pretty hard, just dropping like 10%. In a matter of a few minutes. So this just turned into, okay, from looking like a stock that could be a possible, it could still be a halt candidate, obviously, but like a breakout through the high, get to that 30 level. Now it feels like a fade off the current high of the day after what is a pretty sizable drop in just the last few minutes here.
So just quickly here, the funny thing is here, okay, oh, my chat's not really working here. Someone said, oh, right here, it was you, Ross. What's up, Ross Coombs here. I'm shorting Ford too. Kathy agrees with me. Kathy Wood agrees with me. So I'm a lot more comfortable now. Wouldn't it be the opposite if Kathy Wood is agreeing with you and you are a Kathy Wood fan, and I am too, I like what she's doing, but that comment about Kathy is shorting something, therefore, oh, come on. Now my day chart literally won't work. But anyways, we all know what's been happening with ARK. And, the fact that Kathy's going long or short on something doesn't necessarily mean that that is a fantastic call. This ARK has been absolutely destroyed. She continues to collect, and look, I mean, Aunt Kathy, keep it in the family. I love it. But she continues to collect her, expense ratio, management ratio, whatever the hell it is, here on ARK, 0.5, 0.75%. Meanwhile, literally taking your money and lighting it on fire down here to the downside. So we'll see. Does ARK get going? I believe so. I'm letting this thing drop again. We're long at like 93, 94 in here. Very, very small starter position. And I tweeted that out. And now we just let this thing fall. I'm not going to be buying any more Path or Unity or Roblox or anything like that. I'm already in those names. So now we're going to have to let this continue to fall. I mean, the problem is I own 40 names literally, if not more than that. So, way too diversified. But, as this continues to fall, watch out. I don't know what that call was on Ford, and I have no idea because we're on the show, and I don't know what she's making. Maybe, Brendan, you could find that. I don't see it here on, like, our little news thing here, but Ford has been hugely extended. And I was going to say the same thing, and this is what makes me think about the banks as well. Ford, big-time extension to the upside. So been a great spot. If you need to raise capital, I can't blame you to sell some of these winners. We've had you guys into, and I've been into it, and I just talked about managing family money, and everyone said, okay, well, that's how this guy's Italian. Buying these ETFs here. Like, we've been talking about XLF for weeks and weeks and weeks. So into bank earnings starting, I believe it's Thursday. Is it Thursday with one of them? WFC comes out? Friday morning, yes, okay, exactly. So it'll be on our radar Thursday night, Friday morning, WFC comes out, and they all start to come. So,
yes,
I don't think that there's any problem taking some profit now, even on an XLF, or waiting, maybe not today, but waiting until that Thursday, Friday, see maybe what WFC does, and then start to trim. But this just goes back. I don't know what the Kathy Wood story is, so we'll wait for this.
I don't know. I could be wrong, and maybe Brendan will correct, but it seems like she simply said that the run they've been on is ridiculous. And she's basically, I don't know that she's actively shorted anything.
Right. The run Ford has been on has been ridiculous, but Teladoc, let's buy more of that.
What's weird about that is, okay, like, that's a good word to use to describe the run. It's been ridiculously good. Yeah. Does that necessarily mean you think it's coming down? You could think something has been on a huge run, and I think maybe you could think it's due for a pullback. That's different from saying it's going to pull back. Plenty of people would say that Tesla was all overvalued 1 million times, but they don't have to have all believed that Tesla was going to pull back in that moment. So I'm not sure that story. But
Ross is sort of just confirming here what he's thinking here. No, and Ross, it wasn't about calling you out or anything. It's just like whenever I see Kathy Wood right now, you have to put a little bit of skepticism in what she's thinking. But could be a terrible day. It's a longer term play there on Ford. Yeah, and I agree. Like what Neil was saying there, it is bumped up so much. I mean, you could say the same thing about GM, any of these names, right? The big auto names, and you can include. And it's kind of crazy to include a Rivian. Like, what is going on with these charts here today? Like. Honestly, like at some point this will load, I guess. But, $64, $65, the same thing. Again, GM is actually off much more than Ford. GM's almost down 10% in 3, 4, 5 days here. So, that's another play right there. And then I can see the same thing now happening in Ford as Ford's not down that 10%. Ford's down like 2 or 3% here, maybe not even that much. So, yeah, there could be some pullback here. So it's hard to disagree with a statement that is a fact. Ford has run too far and probably up a little bit higher. Remember, my price target, but with this was 19 to 20 bucks. So it is run too far, but I'm not pairing any off.
All right, let's go to, it was the same, that comment was the only thing I saw as well on that. Which one?
Crypto.
Yeah. Let's talk Beyond here, guys. A couple of people were mentioning Beyond Meat went positive to negative in the pre-market, down 1.5. But Pizza Hut in this country, trying to anyways. This gain from Friday, we saw a big move on some positive news. South of the border, Pizza Hut picking up their Beyond Italian sausage crumbles. This was a test that started last year, extending now permanently for Pizza Hut.
I don't know. Probably, I'll try anything, but you're not. I don't know that you're moving the needle with that test.
It's Canada, damn it.
It's Canada, but the bigger news for them came last week. It was the KFC. That's just bigger fish, and you already see them pull back off that news. And I look right. We just talked about this with. Now I already forget the stock. Where you make a break, and then you essentially come right back to that same resistance level. You gap up one day above 70.50, and then we're right back below it, and then here's your pre-market high right at 70 bucks. So I wish there weren't only pop and fade ideas, which is sometimes that can be a trap. When the market's on lows and then everything I'm looking for is a pop and fade, that would mean the market bounces and then you want to short it off a level like that. It still sets up, and Beyond Meat's right here. 70.50 is all I have written down for it. Actually, that's not true. I had 65.5 also written for potential possible support, if only because that was the dip price on Friday. So it has to come to one of those levels to make a decision there, whether it's the long off of this and then maybe give it to 65 even, or definitely the short in that 70 to 75 range. Like I said, it's just the big news came last week. You've already pulled back off of it. I would find it hard to believe it's going to have another run in it, but look, we just saw that stock go from 58 to up 25% in literally 2 sessions. It has some run, but I just look back to what it can do when it decides to roll over. And if I can find myself a good structured trade, I want to make sure you take it, because this is a stock that has moved a ton in the last few sessions. So there's opportunity.
So here's crypto right now, 29. So if Trader Prad wanted to jump off of a cliff on Friday when Bitcoin was at 42.
Hope he's joking.
Bitcoin right now 40,600. And then right now, there it is. So it's actually just cracking lower right now. Ethereum just touching 29.37. This is on Kraken. It doesn't really matter what you look at, but there it is. A nice little move to the downside here for Ethereum, let alone every other one. If I go to a 1 hour chart, you'll just kind of see the bloodbath that's been happening. We were at 3,800 back on July 5th. That's 5 days ago. So 5 days ago, you're at 3,800. Now and again, I look at these honestly at this point, just because we're so high up, you take it like a stock. So that's 38 bucks. You're down to 29 bucks right now. So a big move down here, obviously in 5 days to take off that 20% or so from 38. I guess, that's pretty close, right? Down 8,000 on 38. Yeah. So a move to the downside, not good at all. And then obviously, I'm not even going to look at some of those altcoins like a Cardano or Solana or whatever as well. Those are getting absolutely destroyed even more so. And again, we'll have to wait on this. But Coinbase right now is apparently at 40,840. So my chart not working, but Bitcoin taking it on the chin as well, man. Wow, crypto. Let me know if you're buying, holding, selling, whatever you're doing right now. I should probably capture some of my profits, but I won't. We'll be buying some more crypto at some point because, hey, you know
Never
what?
Sell.
You only live once, guys. Never sell. I think that's congratulations for anybody that did sell, but your boy is not one of those.
Lululemon. Let's talk Lululemon here because down significantly and pretty active here in the pre-market for Lulu, cutting their Q4 forecast, again pointing to supply chain issues. We're back to pre-market highs here, just kind of bouncing off 335, 336 for Lulu, guys, but big move down on that.
This got talked about off the bat, and even though it made a $5 push back to the upside, and like Sean mentioned, it's still on very, very low volume. So you're not going to love that restatement. I mean, low end of the forecasted range on both ends, top and bottom, is what they're expecting, and the retail names had been sort of getting beaten up. We still have supply concerns. There's just a heck of a lot still weighing on Lulu at this particular point, and you go back on the daily chart to try and find the most obvious support. You don't see it till you get to 300. The momentum is pretty clear right now, but there's always a but, right? if there was more, like just 335, it's kind of interesting. Like you're barcoding off this level, and you have made a bit of a double bottom. So there are reasons why I think it could potentially break the top. And if it takes out the high, I don't know that I'd be in love with the short unless it was a little bit closer to 350. And that's especially because of the volume and how expensive the stock is and what the spreads that you can see open up on a Lulu. So I believe it's a short, just based on the pure momentum, but I don't think sort of digging in and averaging in and giving it too far past like a 40 level does anything but maybe get into trouble, because I think your next chance is that if it tries to fill in the gap, that's an easy short. So up here at the top, it seems to work for me. I probably like Beyond Meat at the previous mentioned levels a little bit more, and I'll definitely be looking, now I'll be looking at that ISIG. As well, and then I think we talked about Hour from last week is going to be another one, and then Lucid, which I don't even know if we've gotten to, Lucid on a pop. That'll be another interesting one as well. Or Rivian. I mean, I think both of those kind of fall into the same category. Although I didn't pay for Rivian, I just realized.
For sure. Sorry, just going in here and buying more crypto. Okay, so yeah, Rivian, I mean, Lucid, again, it's on the sticky note. We could talk all about that all day if we want to, but there it is right now. Of course, Lucid is not a New York stock, it's a NASDAQ stock. I like the short. The lockup is coming, I believe, on the 19th. You guys can try to confirm that. Today's the 10th. So I wrote down the 19th. I'm pretty sure that's right, but looking short today, any sort of a pop back to 42. We absolutely destroyed this name on, not destroyed it, but if we would have held it for the full move, we would have done that. We waited for the pop to happen here, and we started to get short. I believe it was like around here, 41.50 or so. Got taken out a little bit at 42. Was able to reload this short around this 43 level before. Oh, here it is. So boom. Oh, wow. Okay. Ask and you shall receive here. This is what we did on Lucid on Friday. And like I said, there it is. So again, if you're going to say one thing, that's Neil's screen, but yeah, that's okay. It's a different kind of coffee today, so that everyone's got to we got to wake up a little bit.
It needed sugar today.
But here we go. So here we go. So never to be called a fraud again, as we talked about where we were shorting. So there it is, man. I said we started at 42, got out right there at 40. Actually, it's 42.50, not 43. And then the short again, boom, boom, and then there's the pay dirt happening right there. So Lucid was a profitable name. I kind of want to rinse and repeat this again. So let's see if Lucid can get to this 42 area where I am shorting, and the same call on Rivian. But hold on a second. Before we go over to Brendan, let's just make sure that DD trade is still here. So 6 million shares. There it is. There. It actually is following it down. So we'll have to wait to see here.
I've never seen
what DD's going to. I said it would follow it down. Remember, it was first at 440. We tweeted it out here actually on Twitter. So if you guys want to go see this right now, I'll put it in here. But here's my tweet right here about this. 6 million shares, and there it is at 45. Well, guess what? Now it's at 40. So this exact same order has followed it down now a couple more pennies. So we'll have to wait to see what happens right here. But again, thank you guys. Wow, 4 comments, 8 retweets, 20 likes on that one. So thank you for all the support on Twitter, guys.
All right, let's talk about a few little ones, guys. Bottom end of the watch list today. This is not one of them, but remember back on Friday, we were dealing with this HGSH. Huge move from 2 up to almost 4. Came back ever so slightly at the end of the day, but actually showed a lot of strength here late in the day. 3 up to 340 was support at the end of the day. This was aftermarket on Friday, made another leg up through 350. So 315, 320 is kind of this area from Friday, and then 340, 350 above that would be resistance for HGSH. No reason we can't test 240 once again, guys.
Yeah, and another small one with 2 minutes to go. Reviva Pharma, RVPH. They got to go proceed from the FDA and a schizophrenia drug. You look right here to the 200 period and this 415 level on the daily, and that's more or less exactly where it topped out. Pretty much. And when I see that happen, usually I'm looking for the first consolidation lower. I didn't catch it at 7 o'clock. But it has come back here once. It's about 375. So this is on that radar. If it comes in to about 370, 375 at the open, I like to play off that level. If it doesn't break out here and just sort of stays in the opening range of 50 to 55, I think I would take it. At that point, though, I'd be risking 20 cents as opposed to trying to risk 10 to 15 if I got it in that range up here. So I'm looking RVPH for a potential play. We just mentioned Rivian, and then Rivian started bouncing. So I've got an order out in front of 85 being the key level that I'm looking at, and just sort of going back on the 15. Let's see if we can do this here. You look at the afternoon the afternoon support on Friday in the afternoon. That was right here at 85. Turn that and flip it We have a pre-market high right around that range. That's the first level I'm looking to fade on Rivian. Of course, the second one up top here is that same 88.5 level where things absolutely died, last week, and then we made a bit of a top there as well. So I'd take 2 cracks at Rivian in particular. I already won victory, and that was paying for Rivian shorts before the open instead of forgetting, although I almost did forget. Only 4 minutes from the open when I got them in. Watching that one, and then RVPH, ISIG still holding the low end of the range. And one that we didn't mention, and we did at the top of the show.
Bell.
Tesla, almost a bell here. Tesla is right at 1,000. So you're trading Lucid, you're trading Rivian. Tesla's right at that 1,000 mark and trying to hold.
All right.
If it starts to break, it could get pretty interesting.
Yeah. Quickly, get over there, Lucas. We're getting ready to open up right now. So just to let you guys know, AMC, we're looking to get some lower bids near that 20. DraftKings, we are looking to short any kind of a pop in DraftKings. We're going to short Lucid at 42. We're going to short with Neil at Rivian if we can. And we're going to try to go long on NIO on any sort of a dip buy near $28. So let's get ready to rock and roll, man. Buckle up today, guys. With less than 10 seconds left, Lucas is ready to rock and roll. He's got his Thrasher. He's got the toque on. Let's get ready to go. 3, 2, and 1. And let's get this party started here with a little bit of excitement off the open here. Neo not even open yet. We're going to wait to see where that fades out to. But right now, Neo trying to make some moves.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, just another one that I was watching was Airbnb in case it made a bit of a pop into the range. That has not happened. But Hour, which was one from last week, I said if it broke that 730, I would take the short. That's actually the first position I get into. Still watching Rivian. It does not get to even 84. That RVPH that I just mentioned tried to pop. It got to 65s, and it's already starting to fade in. So I think that's going to be one that I try to get to. It pops even a little bit. We'll see if we can't take that. And, of course, this is what you do, Rivian. It got to 83.80, doesn't get to 85, doesn't get to 84, and already flushing. So might have missed. We'll see if we missed a boat on it. I'm not sure. It's a little bit early. We've seen these things bounce and make another run. So I'm still looking to fade the same price. I'm not going to jump out too far in front chasing it.
Yeah, so right now, DD not even open, but we're still looking at it. I would normally put an order to go long here, but I don't want this to not break. Like, I got to let this thing open up. DD, not Rivian. Did I say Rivian? DD not open yet, so we'll wait to see if that can open up and give us some excitement. Neo down to the downside, not low enough for us yet. I know Neo's looking at Rivian. Let's check out AMC. I'm not in a position yet. We're trying to be very, very specific here with what we are doing. AMC even lower than that. We'd like a bid down there. SoFi, a lot of things are just holding right now. Not much action here off the open, believe it or not. So I'm not into anything yet, but we still are looking. My eyes
Lucid's
everywhere.
Popping a little bit. It's getting
Lucid's
close.
popping. Okay, so maybe that's a name. Good look on that
That
one.
40, like this 42 in the afternoon, sort of looking similar to Rivian there. It's trying to pop into that range. Again, I don't want to be chasing it, but it's getting pretty close. And the market's continuing to fall here. The other one that we're watching, Tesla just broke 1,000, looked pretty definitively there. And now Rivian 80. I'm going to head over to Affirm because the low-hanging fruit, it hasn't fallen yet. 74 is the big level on Affirm, and it's trying to pop upside. I know the afternoon support level or the Friday support level is 77.50. That's at least reasonable here, about $1 away. But Rivian's gonzo, man. Like, it's already at 80. It's already at $81.
There's nothing to do here. What's up, Brendan?
First bank to pop up here, guys. Citigroup, actually, just broke that high from Friday on a huge volume spike at the open there. 66.50, up 1.3.
Yeah, me and Neil just complaining here that everything's just falling down, and I just said enough is enough and finally took a Lucid trade. I don't know if this is going to be right or not in here for Lucid, but the market is tanking down here, and we have a bunch of these orders ready to go, so we're going to short Lucid. It's a very, very beginning trade. It's not, I want it higher. We need to get some of these names higher. DraftKings owes at 27 and change. Not good enough for us, man. We were waiting for 27.50. So right now, unfortunately, the starter position here on Lucid is not going to work, but here we go. Okay, this is what we need. So now we're waiting here at 60, hopefully. That comes through now. I don't know, Lucid just on one right here, all the way to the upside. I hope we didn't pick the wrong one to pick on here today, but we're going to do it. So Lucid right now short. We're waiting for this top here at 43 and change. So we do have more orders here on LCID. You're going to see as this starts to, maybe we'll cancel this next one. As it starts to pop up, you're going to see what I'm talking about. My orders are actually priced fine. So I'm completely happy with this. We're short at 41.50 right now. Let's see what happens to Lucid up here near 42. So far so good, but Lucid, the only position I'm in, and we're on the short side, and it's not working out right now, but we'll wait.
I mean, just as you said it, it's like that. Lucid finally popped in for me, and then Affirm kind of popped in as well. And again, it was just finding, and this is not to, no, it kind of is to pick on Affirm. I guess it can't pretend that that's not what's going on here. It's just, tried to find a name that hadn't broken the low as the market was breaking down, and the first one I found was a firm. Now, the reason I'm going to take some out in front of 75 is that 74 is a big level on a firm, if only because not just this here on last week, we had the wick bottom, but on your daily chart, this was the breakout in August, right there at that 74 level. Hour, which is the other one that we talked about, this is last week's. Friday's IPO. It's not really it is last week. But that just crashed through 7, so I scalped some out in front of 7 like a genius. Oops, I say that like as a joke, but that's not really, doesn't really look very good taking that exit. I'm going to get on the bid here, try and grab 70 pennies on the next leg here. I just took some out of a firm. I want to make sure I'm taking some profit on the way down, and one of the reasons is didn't get the prices I wanted. Like I was trying to short pops, and when you don't get the perfect price or get closer to the levels, you don't really change your strategy too much. Like you got to still understand that, okay, fine, on a firm, I would have liked to have shorted it at 76.5, but still, first level is still 75. Even if that's only 50 cents, it would have been $1.50 from where the target entry would be. So you still got to play the key levels. Well, at least that's what I'm trying to do here. And of course, everything's going to be falling now.
Tanking right now.
Okay, the only good thing is I didn't like any bids today. So although that could definitely change because we will come into some key levels here. 874 is right here on a firm, and because this was a target, I'm getting out in front of 74 just to see. I can always re-enter the trade if it consolidates and wants to break down. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be one of those. You're doing that if you stayed away from the long, or if you just got into whatever shorts you could find. And admittedly, it wasn't an easy thing to grab some of these shorts. They weren't obvious entry points. I'm kicking myself over Rivian. We'll probably be regretting that one for a while. Wanted to short the pop, and it gave you a little bit of a pop there. Just probably not enough.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see what happens with this stock now. NIO, we are now long into NIO against 28. So, we had to be patient for this. We talked about waiting for this name to come through here. So it's on the sticky note. We like NIO here. We are long at 13. So let's see if that one continues to work. We are short Lucid as well. Another name that has worked for us here today so far. Lucid, it just bounced off 30 again. Maybe we'll put a bid there in the low 30s and see if we just take out 15 cents on part of this trade, and then we'll see about the downside. The problem is I'm long, not problem, but I'm long NIO here. So can NIO long and Lucid short work? I don't know. They're too much alike. So we can wait to see. There it is, a nice little profit take so far on Lucid. We just took a piece out there for 15 cents. We're short at 41.50. It's only at 30. We are waiting a hell of a lot lower than that. So hopefully this one will continue to tank downside here. Lucid, our next bid is actually right here, 41.27. So there it is. That gets taken out for 25 cents. And now we'll see if this one wants to continue to go to the downside. But the market, Neil, just getting absolutely cracked. And there goes Lucid.
Two halts here. One is BBLG that Brendan brought to our attention. That was halting to the upside. Pets has halted, thank you, Hunter, has halted to the downside. So two volatility halts, opposite directions. BBLG to the upside, Pets to the downside on low volume. But that BBLG does get pretty interesting because it was only selling off after the gap up this morning. And you're going to see it bounce, but not get through the first level of resistance that got 7 a.m. when it sold at 470. That's also near that pre-market high. And then this level on the daily chart. So this 480 level, pretty significant. As we look, this will open up in about, if it's a 5-minute halt in the 3 minutes or so, I'm watching that $4.80 to $5 level for a potential fade. Of course, I probably have to pay for shorts.
Yeah, so we actually reversed it to the long there off Lucid there, taking that little bottom take there at 30. So we actually went long. Actually, Lucid's going to be fine. We make money on the short and the long there. And now there it goes. There's the pops. Okay, so just had enough. I didn't want to keep that short. It kept bouncing around here. We had VWAP down at the bottom. So now there's Lucid starting to go up to the upside. So let's take another piece off here and see. There it goes. 61s. Yes, so another one there on a complete turnaround there of LCID back up to the upside. We will look to take some out, but here it goes. Good trade. If it can keep going, then we'll take that out. But just the fact that the NASDAQ was falling like crazy and Lucid wasn't, flipped the switch a little bit on that one. So hopefully we'll see if it does pay off. And there it goes right now, 50 cents of the money on Lucid. So there is a quick reversal. You talked about names that I hate or that I've been hating on. Look at DraftKings, down 5%. It doesn't get as high as we wanted it to. But this is what we're trying to do, man. Stay out of trouble today. If you look at the sticky note, man, we wanted DraftKings, same story. could pop, but we wanted to short into 28. That doesn't happen. It goes to 27.11 and now down sub 25. So come on, let's go, Neo. We already took a little bit of profit on Neo. This is the big one for me. This is a day maker. If this goes back up, man, then we're going to be super happy with NIO. Let's go run, man. Back up to the upside.
I didn't reverse Lucid, but it probably should have. It just broke through that
nuts.
42. So went 41.60s long, short, and then of course it breaks at 42 even. 43 is, I'm watching BBLG because of course I want to trade the halt stock when it opens back up. Got to pay for shorts there. But 43 was a turnaround on Friday, and it's also the 50 period. So significant level coming on Lucid at $43. That's probably the next place I'd take a crack at it. But BBLG, BBLG, I think is the next trade. I just got to make sure or confirm how much we have to pay for locates on this, because that $5 level looks juicy.
Man, these guys are going ham on Lucid. This is $1 right now. Yeah, this is $1.20 in the money right now on LCID. But we have noticed what this can do, and it's done it before. So no surprise here. But again, Lucid just continues to make a move to the upside. We noticed the strength down there and just flipped it and told you about that. So we flipped that one. We should have flipped over Neo, as that right now is going the other way, getting cracked to the downside goes NIO. Let's take some profit here on Lucid, and then just worry about that Neo trade. Lucid, take it out right now for the $1, guys.
Yeah, it looks like no shares available for us on that BBLG. Still worth a look. I'm not going to ignore talking about it just because I can't trade it. I did finally get that next leg on hour down here at 660, so that one continues to fall from last week. The IPO, Lucid, we just talked about, and Affirm, which we went over to, bounces off that 74 level. So holding fort for now at 74, and that's why we took some profit. I think if we can get back into this, if it wants to hold 76, that'd be the re-entry, using 76 as the out. So there are some movers here that you can take advantage of. I was watching AMD as well. That just bounced off of a 127 low. Still in a bit of a downward, that daily chart's ugly. Still in a bit of a downward trajectory here, but you can kind of see on the 15 so far this morning, like this 129, 130 holding up as resistance. Lucid 43 and BBLG are the two things worth watching right now.
Holy guys, wow for this one, man. Yes, sir, Neo, wow. It goes right down to 28, and now it's just blowing to the upside one more time. We did get, holy crow, man, did we get out of our Lucid there by accident? We thought it was, not by accident, it turns out to be. We thought everything was turning to the low side there off because we saw Neo get cracked, but obviously Lucid continues to make a move back up to 43. This to me is going to be a short here, so I think we got to sort of sit in this trade and look to go short here on LCID. So Brendan, give it to us one more time.
Roku, guys, starting to bounce as well. Big volume just came in through 180, I guess it was. That support level from Friday being tested right now on Roku.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we just talked about this. So here's 43 on a dime on Lucid. You're seeing it sort of go right into the level. Okay, there's actually a little bit of size there, so the whole short 99 and then see what happens. Like if it breaks it, I think you're risking a few pennies there, and if it does essentially what we just saw just right now, which is fall off that level, you can quickly get in and then try and scalp. Like I just got 20 cents. Pretty much free money off of that same level at 99. And we talked about 43. Like 43 is where it failed yesterday, Friday. 43 is the 50 period as well. And it's a quick scalp trade. Like this is not saying it has to fall $1 from here. That's always just get in front of any kind of a size. Even if it came to 42.50 and that's all it did, it's a winning trade and we're going to take that and run. As this is moving, it's worth noting, we talked about relative strength and weakness. Lucid had the relative strength. Tesla holding below 1,000, holding below the pre-market low. There's no strength to be had in this one.
No, Tesla right now getting faded out. Neo as well, Lucid. So yeah, we're same with you, Neil. We reloaded a little bit of a lesser price there at 42.67 or 42. What am I short at 68? Sorry. So now we're gonna have to wait to see what this one wants to do. But hey, Lucid, hopefully it falls back down in. We'll average in if it gets a little higher than this, but not right now, guys. We're gonna wait for some of this play here on Lucid just to turn around a little bit more here. We have this trade nicely done for me, anyways, and we started cashing out 28.30 there, but that's sort of my look there for that. Tesla continuing to fall as well, although you did have a nice rebound there in Tesla, so that's something to look at. Look at this trade on, I hope you still have that,
it's
Neil.
Still going.
That Lucid is a good one all the way to the downside. So let's get out some Neo here, and look at Lucid, man, like a glove. We've been playing this one. This could be a trade of the day for sure, for probably, hopefully either one of us. I haven't really been following Neil's trade there, but you did call that. We both hit the top right there. And again, if you're going to do do anything, guys, we said shorting Lucid was going to be the right trade. We did turn it around here. We went short, got out here for flat or not, and then ripped it to the upside as we saw. Again, time and sales started changing, momentum started changing, so we got in and out of that one there, and Lucid now one of those other names. And Ford, guys, just for a quick look here, Ford did jump off of 24 at the bottom. So that's something to look at if we retest there, 24 there. And there's a quick out for 80 cents or so on Lucid. 42.14. We're now in the money 80 cents on this name, but Lucid continues to work.
Yeah, and I mean, it's getting ugly on Pets here. Pets hasn't done a lot of volume, but it is halted again to the downside. So you're now at 260. Down 37%. Pets is getting woodshedded right now. Look, there's obviously a lot of things that are coming off, but Pets getting absolutely crushed. Be very careful if you happen to be trading that. BBLG just opened back up. Now, just because I can only go long, it does not mean I am looking to go long. That should go without saying. It's the $5 level, however, that I think is the $4.80 to $5 level that is key. I'm going to check to see if I got paid for shorts on it at some point. I'd like the opportunity to be able to fade off of this level, but I can't do it. I probably would be short and losing through 5 if it broke right here, right now, and that's the key level to watch on the daily. Oh, it's going to go halt upside. I'm going to try and get long.
All right.
I wanted this halt.
BBLG. Yeah, you want to get some of these halts for sure. Look at this. $1 now in the money on Lucid. Did you get it? No?
I was so early. How could I not
hopefully
get
you'll get that. Lucid right now, $1 plus in the money and still making moves, man, to the downside.
That's impossible.
It did officially halted now. Yeah.
I was so fast, man. I swear, my first order was out within within 1 second of it going into the halt state. I never got anything.
Not fast enough, as they say.
I'm slow, man.
Yeah.
Getting
with
old.
that age, yeah. Okay, so $1 now for Lucid. Good trading for me. In and out, man. Good one here. Neo, the same kind of story. We're just trying to massage this. It's a positive stock for us, but still needs to make moves, man. MindMed at all-time lows here. $1.17. Square down to $1.36. Shout out to my blockheads. Wow, how far down has this gone? Wow, just absolutely destroyed. Your hour is, I think, halted now. HOUR. Down 20%.
Yeah, I got barely left.
Oh, no, sorry.
It's not halted.
Still moving. I don't know why it's not halted. Down 20%. Right now, Peloton getting down 2+%. Today's just been a bad day for everything. But you know what we didn't look at?
We didn't look at tilt.
I was just going to say tilt rate. Go ahead. Yeah.
You know what's kind of, I knew you were going to say that. We didn't look at it. Up 17% and it's still running. Look, I mean, it's when you have enough things that are working to the short side, fighting something that has been strong feels like a bad idea. But this is a big top here at 760. Brendan's got a story for it.
Take two as well, guys. More volume coming in on the south side. Day lows there. Brought a volume alert. Now 13% after the Zynga purchase for Take Two Interactive.
Take Two was the other side of Zynga. Yeah, that's the other side of the Zynga deal. Look, we've seen this before. Like, you make an acquisition, you get beaten up. Usually, I would say you find buying opportunities in companies you like when they make an acquisition, which you think might be okay, but it's cash and stock, mostly stock, by the way. I think it's like 60% of this is going to be diluting stock.
$2.30, I think.
It's $3.50.
$3.50. So
of 9, yeah. So just over a third, I think, is going to be in stock. But this environment, sometimes that's not, like, jumping in too early is not the way to go. We just broke support at 144 on Take Two. So maybe it'll extend even further to the downside. I'm not really sure about this one. A lot of times the playbook would be at about 10, 15. Sometimes those catch a bid after the initial selling comes through on the day of the acquisition. So I'll check back in on it at that point, but you also have a falling market. Like, a lot of that working is in a different market environment. So jumping on bids, maybe not the best way to go. I just have the 2 shorts on right now, and I'm looking for where I want to get out of the rest of this Lucid, how I can get back into a firm. A firm just broke 74. If it can hold for a couple of beats below her, I might try getting back in through that key level. But Lucid, like, I scalp it out and it's like, okay, we'll hold the rest. Usually I'd be out at VWAP, but the market just keeps dropping here. And like, it's you 1-2 punch, always get the last third out of VWAP. Usually I would do that without even thinking about it. At this point, the market looks so weak, I kind of want to play it by ear. BBLG still in that hold state.
EAR, remember that stock?
Yeah, EAR, we should probably check in on that. Nah. BBIG indicated open 495. So if I did get the long, and right now it's indicating it'll open 3 cents lower. Even despite the fact that it was an upward halt, you do have that level on the daily chart on BBLG here, and that's about 480 to about $5. Looks like that could still be resistance, as it's not looking like it wants to open to the upside. Brendan?
Last week for Teva Pharmaceuticals, continuing here today. More upside action, guys. 9 breaking there on a huge volume spike for Teva, up 2.5%.
Yeah, so I'm debating right now buying some more SMH or something. NVIDIA, okay, so first of all, we're at a very high spot right now as this is kind of came back for us a little bit here. We should have averaged in down on the downside, but again, I'm not confident in any of these trades here today, to be honest with you. So that's why you're going to see me at these 2 right now. And I was just debating, like, do I buy more NVIDIA right now in the own account after the show? But NVIDIA down to 259, like, wow, 259.
259.
Like, 259, not 359 for NVIDIA.
If you don't own any, I think I think people would probably want to get it.
It doesn't even matter. I mean, even if you own some, like, I mean, what kind of an average down is this, guys?
That's pretty
I think you have SMH today that you could be buying, NVIDIA you could be buying, AMD, wow. And then I just looked right now, just because I was thinking about, like, names that have been getting killed. I haven't even looked at Palantir today. Wow, what a good bounce off 1550, but wow, 1550. Yeah, we were not thinking this low. Where's SoFi? Did that touch 13 maybe?
You could
yes,
just be trading
SoFi is right now at 13. I'm going to go long SoFi right now. Hope that we can bounce off that 13. I don't know if there's going to be any size here at 13 or not. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go test along here on SoFi, guys.
Like, yeah, I'm now looking at Tilray off that level. If it breaks 760 downside, it gets interesting. For those of you trading Zynga, make sure you're actually watching Take Two, because if Take Two were to fall enough of a flush, you would see a potential for a breakdown of this level, and you could see it absolutely tank, because it's going to follow it to a degree. Like, the stock prices are now implicitly tied here, so make sure you're watching out for that. BBLG just opened back up. Can't go short. Well, it is what it is, man. Like, it's back to that 5 level. It tries to break out and then fades back in. I can't do it because we don't have the locates. But when you get a fail up at that $5 price, which is a fail break upside after a halt, I think it would be normally like an easy entry short here, 490s or so, and just give it to the top. Can't actually execute it because we don't have the locates. And then watch out. I'm going to trail out of Lucid maybe at 42 just to bank the profit, because I'm watching this happen here on Tesla. Which is because I just trailed out of Lucid myself there. But watch this on Tesla. Tesla's now breaking back to the upside. If that were to take out 1,000, that gets pretty spicy.
You know what? I was just looking at Lucid right now as well. Maybe thinking about this 42 as a stop. But you already trailed out, which is a good one. Yeah, 42. Yeah, 42. Why not? Let's put a stop here on Lucid at 42. Like just a little north of 42 here. If it breaks back above, we'll get out, put the 70 cents in our pocket, because right now we're cruising. We just took, and it's small, but like I said, all we'll do right now
is halting up.
Is, lots of stuff halting over there. We'll just stack up some cash here, oops. So I don't need a stop price on SoFi. SoFi, we talked about going long right there, and yeah, there it is, man. The money's starting to pile up here a little bit, so we'll spin it. Money right now, because here we go. Back up to the upside goes SoFi. A nice little 10-cent win right now. We'll take it. We already scalped it out, some at 25. We do that as we go. Long 19. Let's see if we get back up into the 40s here for this trade. NEO also, yeah, buddy, right up to VWAP there. Didn't even notice that. We are sitting in the 40s, though. Come on, NEO. A big trade for your boy here as well. So far, so good on a lot of this. Although, let's just take a piece out on NEO right now. We can get a 36 print. Did we get it? No, we didn't. Darn it. Right up there to VWAP. We were waiting for 40 and change, but we just noticed that was right there at volume weighted average price. A nice 40-cent move to the upside in 5 minutes here for NIO. So we should worry about taking some off there, but a nice move for us today. We're 3 for 3 today, man. Lucid was a monster for us. My number 1 stock, and then NEO's been very, very profitable, obviously, as you can see that, and then SoFi. We've only made 3 trades today. It's not heavy, but at the same time, this is what we're looking for. We said be patient. This would be a very, very key day. So we'll look over again and just go over to our watch list, our own sticky note. Please, guys, hit this. I'll put it in the chat as well. Retweet it, because so far so good today on this name as well. NEO, we already defended that 28. I mean, that's a good trade, man. It went up to 28.40 just now. Lucid, we're trying to go short. We're doing that, long and short. We want to short Rivian. We want to try to go long on Ford near 23.50. AMC is 22 far, and then Tilray's right there, man. Still skeptical, but good numbers. Then we do want to look at DraftKings. So here we go, man. There's that NEO call, long 28s. Well, that's held out amazingly. The bottom was 27.90. So let's go back to the upside. We're trying to get some out here as we reapproach VWAP.
Yeah, Tesla. Tilray here, it tries to break that $8 range. You see it already pull back. That 760 is a pretty key. Check that. 770 to 760, I should say, is more of a range top from a couple of weeks ago that I think could be actionable. Obviously, you're going to put in this entire range on the pullback. That's why I like this setup, because now you've got that $8 idea, and then you can get in anywhere in front of that range and maybe give 20 to 30 cents. It just bounced off $7. So understand it's a $7 stock, but you don't have to take 5 or 10 cents on trades. I think there's going to be, if you're right, 25, 30, 40 cents, 50 cents are very plausible here, up 19%. So don't trade it like it's your average sort of $8 name. I want to try to see if I can't nibble first in that 60 to 70 range, and then I would be adding to it somewhere in front of that $8, depending on where it tries to make that turn off the top. I would let it break the high of the day because I think $8 is the key psychological level. But into Tilray for the first time here, and then we'll see if we can. That BBLG. That BBLG is going absolutely nuts. We'll see if we can make a trade on it, but that one's been a tough pony to follow. You can only go one direction. I hate trading when I can't go both ways. Brendan's got a name.
Yeah, 3 million on that one, BBLG, guys. Tread lightly. BCRX, another one popping up here on some positive data out for them this morning, it looks like, for BioCrest. So 15% now, but coming into some decent levels here for BCRX.
BCRS. Why do I recognize that name? I feel like I recognize that. Either way, I want to go back and have a quick look at Tesla because it's a bit of a, I don't want to say it's a barometer for the market. Is that a word? But if it gets above that 1,000 mark and breaks back to the upside, I'd be a little bit careful about sort of your shorts on some of these like weaker names because this drop now is getting a little bit interesting. You look at the NASDAQ, we're down almost 2 full %. If this were to snap back, I do not want to get caught off guard because it's gotten a little bit extended here. And so I look at something like a Tesla, if that ever caught a bid, and I'd be cautious. Tilray short an hour, and then it's a firm was the other one. It worked really well, but this was the problem with a firm. This is your 74 level. It just keeps bouncing over and over again off of 74, and that was the low from going back into last week. It was the key price on the daily chart, and I tried getting back in. It bounced off of 75.50 or 60, my entry price from earlier. And then rolled over. I didn't get it. I didn't get more aggressive with the order. And if I had, I would have gotten short. And now it's just back and forth. Look at this, 75.50 down to 74. 3 times it's done it, and I only captured it the first time. I feel like if it comes here again, I probably don't want that short because it's going to break and then test up to 77.5. So sometimes you just have to do it. That would be the 3rd time you're taking a trade off that level. The 4th time, I don't know if I'd be going to that well, even if I only caught it the first. Range bound, believe it or not, on some of these names. A firm, if it breaks the range, I think it's interesting. But for now, I'm just going to play patience, like we've been preaching all morning.
Yep, and that's exactly what we're doing. And all we're trying to do is just getting in and out of some of these trades, man. Like we're long down here at 28.05, and we've just been like taking out NEO on the way down. So that's it. So hopefully we did get a nice VWAP trade there. We'll hope that it can get back upside. Lucid with a flush. I mean, obviously we got out at 42 break. That doesn't seem to be the right call there. I want to short Lucid as much as we can, so we'll wait for one more pop up on Lucid, and then we'll have a look. AMD down to 127 right now. A name that we didn't, and we said the greatest company ever built to mankind, Lululemon, getting crushed downside as well right now. So
you should probably qualify that.
Why? Everyone knows why.
Okay, fine. Fair.
Yeah, I don't need to.
They all know.
Yeah, if you don't know why, then you got to qualify yourself. And then right here, Lululemon, was down today, but a nice little move to the upside here. I'm just wondering about that 342 as a possible short area right there. And then our boy Nike as well, right at a nice little level. So again, there's just so much happening. Like this is down to 150. This might be worth it on Nike as well if the market can ever bounce. So I think this is worth a shot here. NKE off that 150 level, so we're gonna go long Nike.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna kind of stink. So we always say this: if you make a mistake, just get out of it right away. And I got into too many. My plan of action was to get into Tilray first leg in between 60s and 70s at 65. I did that, and then I wanted more shares if it got up closer to that $8. But I was gonna wait for $8. I end up essentially getting into the whole thing right away. And instead of just saying, whatever, that's how much I wanted to have, but it wasn't, because I wanted to have that if my average price was closer to 80, I just took it out essentially flat. And if I'd held it, it would have worked out. But till right now, heading back into VWAP, I just took some out, so we'll ring the register. I don't know, I'll hit a different key next time. It's 750. If it gets to VWAP, I'll probably take another leg out there. This is playing on the market weakness. At some point, if you find a good resistance level and the market gets this weak, even an overextended name eventually sets up for you. This is one that I didn't want to short for the pop off the open, and it actually would have worked. It's one I didn't want to short at the pre-market high. That would not have. But the third time, fading off that $8 range, allow it to consolidate, short the consolidation. Bingo, bango, you know what works for you. What I actually did not, well, I shouldn't say did not work, but I trailed out of Lucid, and now it's like $41. So hold on to your shorts is, I guess, the way to look about it today. As far as catching some longs, I did say if there was a chance on the banks, and specifically Wells was an opportunity. If it'll load here. Load. There we go. Wells, that would be an opportunity. The daily chart's going to be pretty ugly, but I like that a lot closer to 54.50. Again, the banks were to hide. It's not giving you any kind of a real dip to get in for the day trade. If you've been riding this wave, it hasn't been a bad entry point for you. But for the day trade, I was looking for a dip to some support that I could have liked a little bit better.
Yeah, so I was just looking here at some which price. So we talked about good question there about Apple. Nike might get clapped right through 150 here. So our average price right now 150.40. We're out of the money 30 cents on that one. We talked about the funny thing about Apple. When it hit 1 trillion, it went down. I think it was 20%. Or the other way around, maybe it went down 30%. When it hit 2 trillion, it went down another 20%, something like that. Then here we go. We hit 3 trillion, and which we just hit. And now we're pulling back quite a bit again here. So for me, Apple is still a winner for everybody because it is still well above the 50-period moving average of 165. So for people asking where do we get in or more Apple or something like that, I would say you're nowhere near the bottom of any of these names because Microsoft is well below its 50-period moving average, like way below right now. This is a much better buy, in my opinion, than an Apple, right? You have a Google today as well. But again, if you want to play strength, like look at Google. I don't know, is that the same chart? Yeah, that makes, nope. Yeah, there it is. So you're almost at the 200 period for Google today as well. So if you're going to look at any of these names, I would say Apple is actually the winner as it's still pretty high up. Like, nowhere near breaking this, and it may not do that. So if you want to average into an Apple trade, I think you can try it at the 50 period, which may come this week down to 165. To me, that's not a horrible spot at all. I thought we were trying to reload this SoFi, but I don't wonder where my reload spot is here. Did we already get long? Let's just double check this. Yeah, so there it is. So we already got that trade. Just wondering right there, 1310. So that's the reloaded right now on our friend, and not a friend for very long, it seems like, SoFi right down there. Our average price now, 314. So, sorry, 13. Not 314. 1314 now on SoFi. So we'll see if that's good. But right now we're long on 3 names: Neo, Nike, and SoFi. So we'll go over to the big board now with Brennan and figure out what's happening now. Hopefully the market starts to turn a little greenish here. I don't know.
Market be full.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock happening now, brought to you by ShareVision this week. Here we go. Yeah, lots of red numbers right across the board so far. S&P 500, 1.5 to the downside. The Dow just broke that 1 full percent mark. All 3 of the Russell 3000 indexes, 1.2% to the downside. The NASDAQ leading, though, still 2% in negative territory. Even here in Toronto, we're down about 0.7 on the TSX. Resource stocks under pressure, even with metal prices falling. A couple of things we discussed if you joined us at 8:30 this morning in the pre-market. We had chip makers on the watch list. This is Taiwan Semiconductor. Back to these lows from the pre-market, down or still up 1%, but giving back a lot of what we saw in the pre-market. If you joined us, Moderna got flushed at the open and then has just absolutely ripped off 208 through that pre-market high. We're retesting it now, guys. ShareVision is the dedicated platform for finance creators, dedicated streaming platform for finance creators. Go over, check them out right now at sharevision.com, guys.
Wow. You might have just heard, wow, what what just happened there? Okay, Nike was just on one there, and so we were able to get out of only 25% up there at 70, and then we just tanked right there. So wow, things were rocking, and I was like, okay, here we go. But yeah, rocking no more as Nike right back down to the bottom there. Good out for us. So unfortunately, that happened as we were, throwing to Brennan there, but that was an out there for Nike. You can see here SoFi right back down to 13. So I guess I can cancel my 1340. That was a good out. Now we're reloaded back down here to 13. So watch out for SoFi trying to take out those levels. I don't know, man. A little bit of a breaker here. We'll average in. We'll see if it bumps back up. But right now, SoFi, our out's going to be a break of 90. But there's a breakthrough 13. Ugly for SoFi.
Yeah, trying to find some things that don't look as bad for long. So I watched NVIDIA just sort of continuing to hang down those lows as the market just cracked 46 on the ES. But in AMD here actually is holding a higher low at 127. And you start to think about something where, okay, it's already made a flush bottom at 126. It's trying to hold a higher low. And again, I'm probably going to want to nibble with relatively tight stops on any kind of a long. So I'm going to try it. If we can hold 127 right now, and it's actually being tested, of course, like I said, if it could hold 127, that break needs to now not get past 75 and then get back above 27 before I'd go long. I don't want to be fighting this market. I mean, the shorts have been pretty good if you've gotten anything basically to the short side. So as I now basically was just looking for a specific entry on AMD and you see that get blown away, I'm going to go back over to Tilray, which is now holding VWAP. So that retracement, which usually is one that I like to VWAP, I'm going to hold on to the last leg here only because of how weak the market happens to be. And then the rest I want out at a 7 even. Affirm is the other name I'm watching. It is it's now holding below 74. Because that 74 is such a key level, suddenly shorting at the bottom gives me a pretty clean out. If it wants to go back above like 74.25, I can always take it out there. So I am looking to short Affirm at the bottom. I'm going to give it probably less room than I would if I was shorting it up at the top. I'd give that like 50 cents to $1 sometimes. But here off of the absolute low, if it breaks the bottom, 70 I think is the next stop. And if this market continues to flush, that gets spicy. You do not want to get caught in a reversal, hence the tight stop. And by the way, Tesla is now kind of barcoding 980 to 1,000. That still has a chance to break back up. And I feel like if Tesla breaks back up and takes out 1,000 to the upside, we could get a bit of a turn.
Oh boy. The bloodbath continues, man. The NASDAQ down 2.25 right now, percentage points. As Nike, we go.
Oh my God.
For Nike, as that just falls down and we take a hit there. But again, luckily to get out of the way of this one, as it takes out, good thing we took out a quarter there for like 20 cents or whatever it was on the average price, and then we lose about 40 cents on the drop down below 149.75 there. So our out looks like to be 71s. We tried to get another long, it didn't work. That was just a quick average in and then out. So, oh man, off of 149 and change. I don't mind going long again if we take out 150, so we'll have that order in there, but pretty nasty so far. And then SoFi, we took a 13 bid. You saw that happen as it cracked down below. The lowest for SoFi today is 94. So that could be a name that obviously is in trouble today. Down another 5% here on SoFi, so we'll look to see that. Where's Rivian? Because definitely that's a name that I want to be short now. Too low, $80. Yuck. Too low for Rivian. We obviously want it up here, which brings me back over to my other friend, Lucid, today. Wow, what a great short that was at 42, man. We called that short. That was actually 42.80 there. We took it out, and some nice trading for Lucid, but still down that 2% today. That could be another name. And then, look, shout out to Niagara Charlie, who's on the chat here as well. No, I'm not. I'm waiting for this name to come through. We just got Nike. Come on, now Nike breaks above 50 again? Okay, so now we're long at 150 again here on NKE. Hopefully that'll work. Neo's starting to pop now. What I was getting at, I don't even remember the name I was just talking about. Oh, it was AMC. Yeah, what's up? Did you say Pinky in the brain over there? AMC here, a nice little move. I was still waiting for a 20 bid, so down to like 20.80, something like that for AMC. But here's a nice little run, man. Let's get out of maybe some Nike if we could test near view up again. 150.50. We're back in this trade and back into the money on NKE. Maybe we found a bottom here around 150. Let's see.
Thinking of maybe found a bottom, that quick tight stop short in a firm, in and out, that tried to break back to the upside. Beyond meat, we liked only two ways, and it didn't give you the short off of the high, but it just bounced off that 65.50. So now I'm looking to get into this one after it held that level of support. So I got bids down here in front of that 65.5, first leg in front of 66. I'll I'll add to it in front of 66.50, probably in that 3/4 range, and then we'll see if this one can hold support. So beyond meat, it did have that positive news story. We didn't really think it was going to cause a breakout. I thought it would be a fade, but there's only one level I like for the dip. It's now come to that price, so we can get into some beyond meat. Been pretty patient here, trying to find a bottom, or at least any kind of a bottom that I wanted to trade off of. Just coming back, if you're watching ISIG, that stock, it never got to the 30. It's only been fading here, so it's turned into one of those. It's pretty much just dead at that point. I think I was looking for a short to pop off the open. It just never got anywhere close. And now you're all the way through the pre-market lows. This one could be a little bit of a nothing burger and done like dinner story. Tilray, which was obviously this was one of the stronger names in the market. Actually, the strongest name that isn't some sort of a small cap.
No, I think it is the strongest.
Yeah, it probably. Yeah, I mean, there's small cap biopharma names that are up, I suppose, but
like a
Tilray,
stock that
the biggest,
people might hold.
Yeah, you guys might hold. Actually, just bounced off VWAP, but it's still struggling at that 760 to 770 area that we showed on the 15-minute chart. What concerns me about the shorts and why I only have hour and a little bit of Tilray left is Tesla just broke that 1,000. And the ES just broke back above 4,600. Yeah. So I think some of these stocks you're looking for reversals are about to come in here, Brendo.
Space, guys, just popping up as well. Another one struggling today as expected. But you can see huge volume here on Virgin Galactic as we got up to, I guess, pre-market levels there. Huge sell order came in and took this thing right back down. So Space trying to bounce.
I mean, I'm glad we're over $1,000, well, close to about $1,000 now in the money on BTC. You guys saw me in the pre-market here go in and buy some Bitcoin down here at 40,000. So now it's back to 41,000. So that's apparently a good buy for now there on Bitcoin. And this is right when we came on the air, man. You saw me going in there buying some crypto, and I even told you we was doing that live on the show. So there it is. Who knows? It's going to be a good one, but we did buy some more at 40, and it was BTC. I'm overweighted on Ethereum, so we need to get some Bitcoin in the account. So there it is right there. And then look at Nike right now. Nike goes right back to a positive state for us as Nike now 50 cents in the money. Unfortunately, we did get a drop below 150. We're staying disciplined. We don't know how far these things can fall, but there it goes. A nice little quick out on NKE, now 40 cents in the money on that one. And then NEO, and again, I apologize if you didn't see this trade, but we reloaded it down here at 28. We've been talking about buying NEO at these levels. So there it is again, another reload, and then up on the way out, on the way up. We'll sit again at 25. I didn't even notice that it went up this high. So we're right bouncing off near VWAP. We got to take some out there. And then SoFi, honestly, yeah, we'll hit it for SoFi. I mean, SoFi's been fine for us. We are up on this stock, and hopefully it can continue to run. We do have a bottom down here of 12.90. That's staring me right in the face. So the most this SoFi trade could lose is 15 cents. So with that being said, we're long at 04. So I'd like to see this get up into the 20s before we start taking some more out. So take a little piece out there at 10, and then we'll wait to see where SoFi turns around on. I know you're on Tilray, so we don't need to talk about that. And then there's Tesla, like you just mentioned, getting jiggy with it. Breaking, yeah, I think it did pretty good there, breaking back above 1,000. We'll just see if it holds it on the NASDAQ. Yuck day. NASDAQ looking to take out bottoms right now. And then before, I heard something in my ear. I don't know what exactly, but okay, it's Brendan. Just hold on one second. AMD down to the downside. If we could pick something up here around 127, could possibly be worth a shot here with AMD as well. What's up, Brendan?
Just seeing Bristol Myers, guys, out with looks like some data this morning on possible treatment or one treatment that they're working on. Also, some earnings expectations. That's probably more important for this one. So BMY out with some full year in Q1 earnings expectations this morning. Just really nice day here for Bristol Myers so far.
Bristol Myers, why not? And I guess that's another name in the long. We talked about Eli J&J. Eli Lilly falls into that category. Not a bad place to hide your money as well. And you mentioned Virgin Galactic. I pulled up the chart. I saw Friday's price action, and I said to myself, okay, like this 1220 area into 1250. Like I just want to be short in that range, and if 1250 breaks, I'll just get out of it. And trying to find places where I think, if it's at a level here that I think it can dig into and the market goes lower, find something that you can not beat up on, but just ride the wave downside. So I've just started on Virgin Galactic. Like I said, the only long I have right now is Beyond Meat. You just talked about, I want to go to BBLG because apparently that just halted again. Like this like a million times now. Yeah, so this, I want to say it's the fourth halt now on this BBLG. And I'm going to double check again for locates because at this point, if it gets through $7, BBLG, like it'd be, I think you'd have one long, which would be like potential, maybe a 7 break and scalp some of it out, which is what I would almost always do. And then you start thinking about $9 because it's getting out of hand. BBLG is now gonzo to the upside. It should be a 5-minute halt, so we're up in 3 minutes, have plenty of time to check for those locates. And then we keep monitoring Tesla. It's broken 1,000, and it's kind of like a big bump. It's kind of back and forth. Like it couldn't get through like this 930, I guess, range open price, and it's sort of battling back into this 1,000 range. If it holds the consolidation above, I think that's a successful turn. Beyond Meat's where I've decided to go into the long because they had the positive news today. And of course, the second I say if it can just manage to hold the top end of the range, it cracks 1,000 to the downside. Like it's exactly what happened when I was talking about AMD. Now Tesla doing the same thing. And this is why I'm not really forcing into any of these longs just yet. It's just this market continues to crack. Like the NASDAQ and the ES just both hit fresh lows.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be wrong shorting some of these markets here today, guys. It's a pretty nasty day. So, just hold your shares as close as you can to your chest on a day like today, and we'll see where we go because it's just been a nasty one. And I'm obviously nervous about what this market wants to do, but we're just going to go back and try to find some good names. We wanted to buy some Ford, so we're long Ford right now at 23.75. We waited for this thing to drop down, and maybe we've made a bottom there. I'm not sure on Ford, but here we go. We'll take this one in. The bottom here is 23.40 recently. To look at a chart doesn't really give us too much except for that exact same level. So I think we could probably hold this into 23.40. It's not going to be a big hit. I don't expect this to go down much further, but down into here, 23, maybe even 23 flat. On his sell, but let's hold forward and see if this one wants to do something. Okay, AMD again, we're long into this one. This is, guys, we'll hit this again. Like, look at all the positions I have. It's absolutely nuts right now. But we'll hit a new position alert here for AMD. We're long at 127. 40. It just did go up into the, oops, that's the 1 day. It just did go up into the money there for us and then dropped right back down. So again, you're going to have to play this one off of 126. So an early starter position averaging into this at 126.50. But hey, this one watching out for these bottoms, 126 flat. We're coming into play, and so far, not so good on some of the longs that we're holding. NEO's been fine. NEO's been back and forth. We're able to take a lot out here. We're holding this one for that. You already know the sort of plan of action here on SoFi. This breaks back down below 90. We're gone. Looks like they're all testing some of these bottoms. We're still pretty good, man. We've given back about 20% of our daily net so far, holding some of these. So hopefully the move does not stop here and continues back up to the upside. Give it to him, Brendan.
Yeah, one of those days you see some of these inverse ETFs starting to pop up to the upside. Here's the S&P, or one of the S&P ones, SPXU, 5.5%, big volume at day highs, guys. Lots of buying coming in.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, there you go. And the game, by the way, if you're looking at the meme names, well, I guess whatever you want to call them, GameStop down 13%, just got to 120 even. So down, over 10%, as you can see. I'm assuming AMC something similar. You go back to last week as quick as I can here. The wick bottom before the huge run was right here off of 120. So if you were looking to pick a bottom on a GameStop, this would be where to go. Like I said, I'm not forcing anything in the longs, and I've got Beyond Meat here. I was watching AMD because I liked some of those levels, but Beyond Meat gave you one on positive news that kind of made some sense. And by the way, we talked about hiding. Is Morgan Stanley. Like Morgan Stanley just backed off the 105 high again. So this has been doing this, like the 100 to 105 several times here. It's been in the midst of a breakout, but even this can't break out as the market continues to flush lower. But GameStop's on my radar. If it holds 120 maybe a second time, and I can get a tight stop trade in here off that 120 level, that could be just worth it from a risk to reward because look at the gap. Just now it just gapped $6. $7 from 127 immediately to 120. And I'm going to assume if I pull up AMC, maybe not as big of a drop, but yeah, barcoding around that bottom, not as weak as GameStop. So GameStop looking a heck of a lot worse than AMC does right now.
Yeah, okay. We should have got out of Ford there on that little pop. Ford popped to 82 there in our long at 76. We could have pushed out something there. We should have. So we'll try to do that again if it does go upside. AMD, the exact same story, man. AMD went 30 cents into the money for us. We're long at 127.40. It went all the way up to 60. So here it is again. Rate actually went to 70 right there. So that's the 30 cents. We are long at 127.40. Right now it's at 127.70 or 65. I'm waiting at 80 to get a piece out here. So if this can rip up, that's right where VWAP is. Come on, one more push upside on AMD, and we should be able to get that out right here near this VWAP. And then there it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. Let's go, man. We're right back to the high we've been at all day here as NEO's starting to get extended here. There goes AMD, a 50-cent winner for us. So we're putting that one on the board and ringing some registers on that one because today we need to do a little bit of this. We need to make sure that we're putting some of this in our pocket as we start to go back up to the upside. NEO as well. Big movers, man. Buy these dips. And again, on the sticky note, $28, man. We identified that level, and it's not a hard one. I mean, 28's held the last little while. So as you go here, 28, 28, 28. So we're just playing off that, and we understand that we could get cracked. But today is not a day to try to, hit it huge, I don't think. It's just a day where I think if you find the right names, you can massage your trades and then take some nice winners. So there goes NEO off of 28. I'm scalping 20 cents over and over and over again here, as you guys can see on the minute chart, wherever it is right here. Good scalping one time, two times. Well, this is the same trade. So basically 2 times a reload right back to VWAP again. So holding out for hope here that the day is not done and we can get going. I see Tesla still there at 1,000.
It's still at this 1,000. It's broken twice the opening range top at 1,007. It got to like 8s. It just got to 10s. I think it's getting close to that point. And again, if I try trade, the mistake I made on Friday was having an initial stop on a break. I only wanted to give $5 worth of risk and then holding on to it. So this time I want to try to stick to it. And if it's going to be this 1,000 level that I'm in front of, then I want to make sure I'm getting out in front of it. But again, like you're seeing what happens, like it keeps barcoding and then breaking down towards VWAP at like 95, 96. So before I think about that 1,000 level, I kind of want to see if I can get anything close to that pre-market low right around that 95, 96. So in the name of patience, if I can end up using a further away stop and get really picky about price, like I tried in Beyond, which by the way did, I don't know where like the ugly keys are. We'll do this one. That one just broke the bottom as well. So I'm already out of one bottom pick, hanging on to shorts because the shorts just seem to keep on working. I haven't gotten any more shares of Tilray, but I'm looking to see if we can hold VWAP on Tesla. But I only want tight stop longs at this point. Like picking the bottom to me, I'm not gonna go down with that ship. They need to be in, out, tight stops. If you get it, then hold on to it. And if it doesn't break that low, so Tesla, it'll be 995 in VWAP. You might see it pop in, but right now, I don't see the need to sort of jump into these willy-nilly. That hour that I've been holding on to since the morning, since the open, right when it flushed at 7:30, it has done nothing but threaten the low of the day. It either breaks the low or tries to get back above 7 or VWAP. It's pretty binary for me. It's like an X or O. If it breaks the low of the day, I think it's going to flush again. If it breaks 670, I can get out at 7 and still be profitable on a bit of a trail. And then Virgin Galactic, we did take one leg of profit on space. I always say don't trade your book. Sometimes it can be difficult to short a name that you have long in your long term, but it's easier when it's a shot play that when you put that money into it, if it went to 0, you're already okay with it before you put in. That's the bucket that space belongs in. And when the momentum is to the downside, you've got to be able to trade it southbound. My next target would be $12 even. That kind of stands out here as a little bit obvious. And then we're going to take you to the small cap recap with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Interesting day for some of these names, specifically with news showing a lot of underlying strength with the overall weakness in the market. RVPH was one that was popping up this morning here in the pre-market. Give you a nice level here to work with just before the open, 355, 360. Comes into this level, which was around 320. If you go to a daily chart, pretty significant level, so I took my trade there. But I did give you $3 on the downside for RVPH. ISIG, interesting, very, very thinly traded. You got to be so careful with this stock. 27.50 was that high, and then 29 was the actual high. Took a couple of shots at this down to 25. Obviously should have held, but there was support there in the pre-market, so I got out of the way. Tilray, I don't buy this move up whatsoever. The daily chart is super weak still. 788, as Neil was saying, significant levels. So first attempt failed there, but just working off of 780 to 8. I'm going to be patient with Tilray. Guys, back to you.
I'm glad someone brought up GFS because every now and then I forget about it. And the reason I do is because it doesn't do a lot of volume. Global Foundries, only 300,000 shares. So for day trading, probably not your jam, but finally getting back into those mids, those mid 50s. So this is a stock sometimes you get burned by patiently waiting for something to come back in, but this could end up working out once we're off the show. I guess once we're back into lunchtime, this is when I want to throw a stink bid in front of 55s. And I think if it gets to that 56 and change level in front of that key 55, I want to be long this just to add to it. I like this one on the IPO and never got it at 44. And I've been sort of kicking myself ever since. Like I talked about Tesla, it looks for now like, why didn't that flip? Yeah, it looks for now like it wants to hold 1,000 level and maybe not even give you that 995. It tested down and bounced off of 1,035 cents. So I'll go for it with a stop at 1,000, knowing that I'm sort of willing to maybe take something in front of 95 if it gets there. But if I can get ones and twos, I might take my first shot at Tesla here. It's looking a little bit stronger than it was before, and the market is showing some signs of trying to bounce here. So I do think the relative weakness that Tesla has put in makes it intriguing for a long, but this is not one I want to go down with a ship win, nor risk the entire morning that I have. So I got a 102 just now. And look, risking only a couple of bucks on Tesla, I don't think that's usually the way to go here, but on the way today is trading, at least the way the market feels today, that's kind of how I want to play these longs. I played it tight to the vest with Beyond Meat. I'm going to play it tight to the vest with Tesla. I never got the reload on Tilray nor Virgin Galactic, but those are still two names that I would be willing to short on pops. And we'll check back in on Rivian and Lucid once I get some orders out on Tesla, because if it fails at 110 again, I probably want to get some out in front of it, so like a 108 or something, just to scalp $5 or $6. If I'm only risking 2 in slippage, well, taking 5 or 6 probably makes sense.
Yeah, we're here. We've got a good one. So bang right there as we get $1.50 or so in the money for AMD as that continues to ride higher there. It just touched 128.70 there, 128.75, guys, for AMD, and here it goes. So now it's only in the money $1, but it was in there that $1.40 or so to the top side. Let's see if it continues to work out. The only stock that's falling down that we haven't averaged into yet, well, first of all, that was a small trade. This is a bigger one, so we are into Ford right now, and it just keeps on like dripping downside here. So I guess Aunt Kathy has had some effect on this name, but whatever, we'll hold this, making money everywhere else, but definitely not on this name, so we'll wait to see. Wow, look at AMD. Yes, here we go.
I think we're starting to get some breaks now, right? The NASDAQ just bounced off the bottom 15.2. Tesla just broke that 10-10 level, so I'm going to hold on for dear life. Like I said, I was going to scalp some out there, and scalping on Tesla means $4 or $5. And then you see if it continues this push, we can get into this cluster at 10.15 to 10.20 from the pre-market, and I'm going to love the risk to reward there. I had a tight stop on it in that trade. You could have been giving it to 95s. I was sort of skeptical at whether it would go right away, so I wanted a tight stop instead. And as that happens, of course, I said we would check back in on Lucid. Makes the bottom at 40.50. Now it's back into that lower high that actually trailed me out the last time. So it's right back at that lower high. 43 remains the level on Lucid. And I don't think you'll see me short a different price. I tried once and that was a loss. So the short off 43 is just a better level. It's a 50 period as well. But Tesla, let's get off to the races. If this is the bottom and it actually gets through that churn at 10.20, this could really start to go here. 1,000, that'd be like a wick bottom below 1,000. And I know AMD has some good relative strength, so hopefully these longs will finally start to come in here. It feels like we might have a bottom. Feels like.
Yeah, let's go. Come on now.
Oh, you're going to like it from Ben.
Yeah, we're going to like it right now. Let's go Nike right now. Nice little win for us. Boom. There it is right now on Nike, a big win for us here. 80 cents in the money on NKE. Trying to take some out there at 90. I don't know, we just got missed out there. Hopefully that can come down. We don't celebrate a little too early. On AMD, guys, another one. Bang, right there, $2 plus, now in the money on AMD. So, yeah, bottom pick a little bit there, but got pretty jiggy with this one. AMD, a nice little move and a run to the upside as we're at the highest spot we've been at all day now, and we're going to get a little bit more information right now from Brendo at the big desk.
Just double checking on the timing on this. SRPT 1024, so a couple minutes ago. Halted news pending here, guys, for SRPT. So heads up on that, down 1% on the day, but news pending halt there.
News pending,
Is that Sarepta Therapeutics? Okay,
it
so
is.
I'm always like, why do I know that stock? And I know that stock for some reason. It doesn't come to mind immediately. That target area for Tesla, that 10, 15 to 1020 said, the bottom of the pre-market, you can read it right here, is more like 1013. So it's a wider range. It's a $7 range, but it's in that range right now. And as it gets close to that 1020, you know me and looking gift horses in mouths, it's already starting to slow down. I'm going to put a trail at 1,015 in the middle just to make sure I lock the profit in. If the market was stronger, I probably wouldn't want to do this, but let's face it, the market hasn't been that strong, and I don't want this thing breaking back to the downside, and I don't lock in some profits. So if it makes the turn here, fair enough. We're going to bag, there it is, we're going to bag 12 bucks on the last half of this trade, and then if this isn't the low, then, hey, we've made a good out and it'll look fantastic on the chart. If we do break, and this is the bottom, there's still the chance that Tesla breaks out at 1,020, and then you can structure a trade either breaking out of that 1,020 or maybe in this same channel from the pre-market. But this is one where I think hitting and running is the way to go. I was sort of scouting this trade out when it got to 1,000 and sort of cautious pulling the trigger until it actually held the 1,000 mark. And once it held the 1,000 mark, that's when we jumped into the trade almost immediately. Some of the shorts that have got on, maybe the last leg of those won't work out. I think the jury's out on Tilray. It's still holding the lower high, but if you wonder why that lower high is significant on Tilray, if I zoom back out here, it's this little chop area, 760 to 770. That's that range. I think that lower high off that $8 fade. When it fails at 8, you go to the next level down, and that's why I think it's running into resistance there. If it breaks it, it probably retests the high.
And the NASDAQ, yeah, good trade there on Tesla. Yeah, the NASDAQ is still down that 2 and a bit. Wow. I mean, you might just want to forget about buying individual names, guys, and just buy the NASDAQ right here, as that's like a lot of names getting hit. Facebook down 4. I mean, what is Microsoft down today as well? Yeah, 3. Okay, so this is not so bad. I mean, it's still down 2.5, but off its bottoms down there at 305. Facebook is the one that I'm talking about right here, down 4 and a bit percent. I love this name, but it doesn't matter what I say, as Facebook right now, as it loads, getting absolutely destroyed today, like just straight to the downside. We are noticing that this is a stock that I like to trade in the afternoon because it does give you these crazy moves out of nowhere. But where's my 20-minute chart as I just keep on pushing these things down? Yeah, so we've already broken. I don't know why this doesn't load back there, but yeah, 317.
Whoa, what the?
Very, very low.
Not DWAC again.
DWAC is starting to move again. mRNA moving, DWAC. People talking about DWAC.
It just popped 10%. I don't know. Did another rumor come out on this? Like, is there?
I mean, what could the rumors possibly be at this point?
Maybe, like, remember there was no one was actually reporting other than that one story that we saw of the actual date. Like, maybe that's been confirmed or something. Guys, I'm doing the same thing you probably might have. I'm going to my tweet deck and just kind of looking to see if I find something on it. But I'm not really seeing anything obvious in terms of news. But DWAC, the last time it did this, it was a fade. You can see I tried to get that 55 short. And then a tight stop there. You saw it break to 65 even. It broke the key 655. But if you look at the action in the pre-market from Friday, it couldn't get past $58. 58 was resistance on DWAC. So if you've got this to the long side, I'm going to go check in on paper shorts. It just went to 57.50. So that same level it couldn't break. And when we thought we were going to be bullish on it on Friday, that 58 level looks like it's resistance once again. So DWAC doing some DWAC things, and Brennan, he's got the news.
Fox, guys, this was actually 3 hours ago, but worth a mention. Anyways, Fox reporting Republican Devin Nunes will be the CEO, possibly. Will leave Congress to take big tech as the CEO of Trump Media Technology. So, again, that was about 3 hours ago from Fox.
So, yeah, I mean, look, the only thing I will say is when you have a stock with the type of momentum that the DWAC has, it can probably just make breaks without there being specific news, right? Like there's going to be enough interest here because when you look at the volume spike, it did make an opening range break at 54. So that's kind of a technical breakout anyways. We saw like even back when Kodak was making moves, like it would just randomly, like before GameStop, it would just randomly, without any sort of secondary play, might put in a range like this and give you a breakout. And then it's just the traders. It's just traders pumping it to the upside and then taking it. But 58 still remains a big level. That's why I'm going to go check for pay for shorts because I don't think we can short DWAC for free. That's probably not going out on a limb. And if it gives me another crack at 58 even, I don't mind getting stopped at 58 and then looking back towards the highs that it made on. I guess it would have been, was it Thursday? I want to say?
Yeah, it was one of those days. I'm not sure.
Thursday.
Yeah, so I went long Foonware here. So we'll see what happens with Fun. See if we can have a little bit of this with this name. Took it at the 75 break. Just going to give it back to 60, sort of where this move started. I'm not going to give it all the way back down here to 50 because that's just too far of a hit. I think we can get up to $3. Might be good here. But again, we'll just wait to see if there's any love. And if it fades back down, we're going to be out at 60 for a 15-cent hit. So that's something that we'll test out here on Fun. And hey, we'll have some fun. We'll get a first leg out. If we can take 10 cents on the first third, and then that'll put our risk reward way in, because we've already pocketed the 10 cents if we can get it. And then we'll wait for 60 on the downside for an ultimate fail. We did get out of AMD there. For some reason, it cracked all the way back down to 128.10. We got out. Now it's starting to rip higher here. I do like AMD, though. A good name. It's just very, very violent. Shouldn't put stop orders on this name, to be honest with you, but I did it. 128.60, maybe another long here coming on that name. SoFi, I don't know, waiting, man, waiting. We reloaded it down here. You can still see my average price is 01. We haven't taken a loss on SoFi yet, but this one just bouncing around 12.90. We talked about that would be our out, so we did take another reload down there at 93, so that turns out to be pretty good. And Nike, 65 cents in the money. We do wind up getting that 79 or 80 there like we wanted, so now it's right back into the money again for us on Nike, 63 cents upside. So right now, not much to worry about. Ford has fallen down. If we can get something out here around 65, we should probably do that for 10 cents worth of a hit as we've just bounced off 50. It breaks that 50, it could get pretty nasty. So let's take a little bit of risk off here on Ford.
And we'll do this one for... Hey, man, I haven't been running my mouth too much about us beating the New England Patriots, but we'll spike it out for Virgin Galactic. It's maybe not the exact price I would have liked getting the short, and I did want to add to it if I could have gotten closer to 12.50, but it gives you the quarters at VWAP, and then it gives you 12 even for the quick little scalp trade. And sometimes when the market started falling and I missed out on the Rivian short, we got a piece of Lucid, and I went to a firm. And then after that, when Brennan brought up the fact that space was giving you a chance off the high, just sort of understanding where the higher probability bets might end up being there. And again, a firm, I could have held on to the short through the bottom at 74, but that's not the price that I loved. So I end up not getting too greedy with it. And we'll see if that ends up being the right call. At the end of the day, it's still trending to the downside, but it's about not wanting to give away profits. And this has been a morning where you've seen Sean do it, and you see myself here. Maybe we're a little bit less aggressive today. It feels like the right call. It's been the right call. Get in, get out, take your profits, reassess. Don't chase things too far here. And I'm going to do that with a firm, despite the fact that it looks like it's continuing lower on the trend. This one is definitely in some trouble. It looks like, and I sort of said this, like if Tesla ended up holding that 1020, this trade would look fantastic. But you got to remember the other end of the coin. If the market has made a bottom here, let's say the ES holds 46 and the NASDAQ holds 15.2, and we broke 1020, this trade would look equally stupid when all of a sudden Tesla on a rebound would be at like 1040 or something. So you have to make sure you structure that trade knowing that if I get out for the scalp and it continues to run, well, you got to be okay with that. So in this case, it ends up being right. But it can always go the other way on you there. I'm still checking back in on Global Foundries out of my own curiosity, still not breaking that low of the day. 55 comes in. This is one that I want to be picking up today. And this is a long term. I don't think it's a day trade bounce off 55 by any stretch of the imagination. I just think this is one I've wanted to have for a few weeks now, and it's finally patiently come back enough to dig into it.
Yeah, wow. A lot of stocks coming back in to dig into today. Yeah, forget about mine, man. Roblox just took out 79 there as well to the downside.
Where'd that come from?
That could be a name. Oh, so I was looking at Palantir, people asking me about it. I don't think I want to get into this until we break above 1560. Like, I'd like to see some kind of a trend change on this name until we get into it today. Palantir down that 6.5%. So we'll have to wait to see here some sort of a change of trend. So I think like a 1560 break might do the trick there and get it going. But it's silly for me to go, because if I go long now, it's going to have to be a tight stop, and that's not something I really want to do. Like, I feel like it could wick to the downside again and again and again here today. So, and until this market gives us, like, we're at the lows right now of the NASDAQ. So the last thing I want to do is pick up a name that has a negative PE or anything like that right now. Trying to find some higher quality, which doesn't make much sense when I'm in SoFi here, but SoFi continues to fall, and we took a little bit of profit there at that 1305. We're getting near a stopping spot here for SoFi as, the NASDAQ just keeps on going lower, lower, lower here. We'll wait to see, but if that breaks through 90, then we're gone. Nike holding up quite well. So maybe we take profit on this one, but we're 65 cents in the money, so we'll hold on to it. NEO came all the way back, but NEO's been good for us too. We do have a stop on NEO, so maybe this is a good reload spot. But again, let's not throw bad money after good here. Like, we've already hit NEO for a couple times.
You know what they say, by the way,
and done quite well on that. You know what? Hold on a second. We're going to give this down here to 27.50. That's going to be my next reload. Well, what did they say?
So always double check your stop orders.
Oh,
and if you get in, prime example, if you get into position you don't want to, just pay the spread and get out of it. Like, I triggered Tesla, that stop I had at 1,000 to cover the long. Triggers short, and this is the difference. Like, getting out immediately is taking a spread hit as opposed to losing like $2 or $3 if you try to hold on to it. So you just never want to do it. DWAC, which came in, like I said, I would fade it. It just never really gave me the price I wanted. Like, it goes up to 57 here, and I'm shorting off 58. That's a little bit far away to risk a buck. I was kind of hoping it would pump higher. It's already looking like it wants to break the bottom. So again, like, the first thing that I do when we get that news or get the move is there any particular reason? Brennan tells you the news is 3 hours old. Resistance from last week is at 58. So I don't see any reason why you'd try to go long there. You'd wait for 58 to actually get broken and then hold that level, or it's just a fade at that price. There's no need to rush into the trade, over trade it or anything like that. I remain only in now. I took out Virgin Galactic. I'm in hour, which, like I said, I'm going to hold. And then Tilray, which is the other one. And, if it breaks this level here at 740, I'm looking to get out in front of 7. I might just park a bid in front of it right here. And no need to rush into anything right now. It's just, I was looking for names that are showing some quality. You mentioned there to pick up on a long, and I'm looking at Intel as a value possible type of name. Like, it's just one of those, man. Like, you type it, and I never type Intel wrong. I always get, because I know it's NASDAQ. I've known that for years. But anyways, Intel looking relatively strong, up 1%. It just broke 54, got halfway to 55, and now it's trying to pull back. So this holds either 54 in consolidation or maybe even VWAP. This could be a safer place to find some scalp longs. I'm going to check in on some of the travel names as well, because with 20 minutes till we hand you on over to Trader Prad, this is not the time of day to sort of be forcing your way into anything, a momentum type of name. If it's not at a key level, and if it's not with the trend, then I don't want to be forcing my way into it. If it's a halt trade or like a small cap that's running, I don't really mind those. But CCL here, I mean, it just broke 21 even, which has been a recent floor for this stock. So that's, wow, this is a 21. This is a 21 break we had last week, and now we're breaking right back below that support level. So I guess if it holds an offer below that price, that could be worth it for a short. But I just checked in on this like 2 seconds ago. I'm not going to jump into that short instantly. I want to see it hold below 21. Even size forming at 21 could get pretty spicy. But pop CCL on the radar, down 4%. Even the reopen name's getting beaten up.
We're just getting ready. I did reload here on AMD, so you want to talk about a key level. Not bad here, down to 127. So we'll see if a reload on AMD is trying to work. And then honestly, I don't really have an out for Ford. I wasn't going to take it out at 23.50. Was hoping that it would climb back into the 60s. So we'll have to wait here for Ford to get back to the upside. Not a huge position. Would much rather reload this near 23, but not working. We have it on our sticky note, 23.50. So here we go. We're trying to stay real to that, but we started a little bit too early up here at 23.70. So lesson learned on that one. And then an average incoming, hopefully on AMD. Watch out for 126 at the bottom. Right now, NASDAQ just still ticking lower, but let's go over to Brennan. I can see it looks like a sea of red one more time.
Yeah, pretty ugly overall, guys. We'll show you the S&P 500 here. Widespread declines right across the entire board, almost 2% for the ES. 1 month lows, it's worth mentioning. Communication stocks over here, far corner. We're going to have Justin come by, talk a little bit more in depth on this Take-Two deal. You can see TTWO 15% almost to the downside on that acquisition of Zynga. Meta right below it, FB there, 4.3%. Twitter's here, Google's here. They're all here, and they're all red today, so it's one of those days. Healthcare, I wanted to mention CAH. They came out with Q4 and Q1 updated guidance, both to the downside, so 10% there for CAH. Humana, 3% to the upside, kind of offsetting, but not enough. Moderna's having a nice day. We showed you Bristol Myers having a nice day, 3.5% for each. Everything else on the board in negative territory, including consumer discretionary stocks. This is the tech group, the entire things, both of them, the entire groups basically in negative territory, leading the way to the downside right now, as we said. Widespread declines, 1.8 right now for the S&P, guys. Back over to you.
Well, I saw some people asking in the chat there, what is Brendan using for the heat map? That's an icon terminal. So through Refinitiv, it's a great tool. Sometimes, especially on days like today, you really want to get a sense of what's going on in the market, because there are times when things are sitting on the lows and we're in a bunch of shorts, or even the other direction, and then we'll look at the heat map and say, wait a minute, that's not what I expected to see across all the sectors, because we can get tied up looking at what's moving, and sometimes that can be very, very sector specific. BBLG, just to come back, this one, I see something's moving there, but BBLG is still at the highs, so holding out and looking like it wants to break through the top. It's halted several times, but hasn't really capitulated. This one still has a chance to be able to go. I said if it broke 7, I was looking to see if it couldn't get to 9 would be the only price I'd short if it broke 7 even. That'd be a scalp long, and I'm going to double check to see if we finally have locates on it. Have not been able to go short this name. Crazy volatility here, over 23 million shares, but holding the top end of the range to be sure.
Yeah, this 2340 on Ford should hold, but again, we're coming in. I mean, this is 2340 right here. Ford today not able to withstand some of this automotive, I guess, thumping a little bit here. GM down 3 and a bit as well. And we did note earlier, and you guys were 100% right, thanks for bringing it to our attention there, about Aunt Kathy there, going red on, or not red, but just talking about its move. And I mean, we agreed. I thought it was too far too fast as well, but didn't expect a 5% move to the downside, or else we wouldn't be in it. So right now we'll hold out for some hope here and see if Ford can get back to the upside. But this 40 area, though, definitely worth taking some risk off. There's only so much of this name I'm going to hold back down. So, we'll wait to see. Don't mind getting a little bit longer down here. But Ford, for right now, 40 not looking nice. Maybe take one more shot down on the downside. AMD just bouncing around. So this is another name that kind of looks very similar to everything else here. Just bouncing off these levels, trying to figure out what it wants to do. There's been a few names that are near bottoms. NEO, right now AMD, I think, just keeps wanting to bounce here with a possible reload down at 126 and change. So that's a name that we should have maybe been a little more aggressive on. But there we go. Funware bouncing as well, not doing much. That was a 66 reload. Let's see if it can take out the top. But hey, we're actually not doing a whole hell of a lot now. But we do have a 40-cent winner now on AMD. Takes them out if we get anywhere near VWAP one more time, guys. Here it comes, a nice little move to the top side. We're actually doing pretty good here. Hard to complain on a day where we've made some mistakes, but we've definitely held these names close, traded them, and I think we've been picking out some decent levels. Man, NVIDIA too, still 257. I've chosen AMD, but wow, none of these names can get going here. That crazy. Top is 127.60. Probably should have taken that out for another 40 cents. Let's switch it, man. I was in the 80s. I'm going to go to the 60s.
So Mike Jack asking what I think of it. Nicola, I'm going to talk about the stock because you probably don't mean what do I think about the company, but I'll say it anyways. If I was going to play hydrogen, I would be playing it with Plug Power, and both stocks aren't going to be that fantastic either. But there's been decent news from Nikola, at least recently. And you have, look, I mean, Sean, you pointed out that $9 level on Nikola, and everyone's like, why are you trading it? And Sean was like, because look at $9. Well, I think you can probably say the same thing, not nearly as strong, I want to say that first, about this 975 area here. If you go to the 15-minute, and I zoom back too far there, but if you look at last week, 975, and what happens when a key level like that breaks? Wick bottom and then snaps back to the upside. So then you know there's something there to it. There's a there, I guess is the best way to put it. So as we're about 15 cents away from it right now, yeah, you can probably look at a 975 level for a scalp day trade off of the bottom. Like that's what I'm not talking about buy and hold Nikola because you're going to get rich if you hold this at 975 till infinity. No, but every single day, every time it's come down here, there's been a decent tradable reversal. I will caution and say that every single time it's been a really good long, these are all opening flushes. So I don't know whether that's going to hold true were it to test it in the afternoon. But for now, it looks like it's a decent long opportunity for something like a Nikola. As long as you understand, if it breaks out of that range, then that's your stop. And Brendan at the desk has more.
Yeah, we're going to touch on, hi guys, there we go. Take two, yeah, this was the headline we came into this morning here, $12.7 billion deal, cash and stock. Remember, the most important part of this deal, it's actually mostly stock. We'll bring in Justin Kozach here, Day Trade the World marketing guy. Good to see you as always, Justin. Happy Monday. Bit of a red Monday on the markets as we've been discussing, but big headline here for Take-Two Interactive. I know you're all over this. Tell us what we need to know, sir.
Yes, good morning, and thanks, Brendan. Yes, happy Monday to especially to Zynga. Take-Two Interactive acquiring probably one of the biggest names in gaming for a zinger of a deal at $12.7 billion. Did a double take when I saw that Take-Two headline. Take-Two, huge company, has, they publish titles such as Red Dead Redemption, always a difficult one to say, Borderlands, NBA 2K, and a number of other titles. Expected to close first quarter of 2023. Of course, waiting for regulatory approval as these things go with huge deals like this. Zynga, of course, a massive company, has Farmville. So I spent way too many hours, certainly too many to count, or even those that I would admit publicly, and Words with Friends. And so they're, certainly no small company, certainly very well known. And also they are looking to roll out an Among Us kind of competitor called Revamp on Snapchat. So definitely sticking with the mobile side of things, but that's a huge deal for Zynga. Good for them.
Yeah, monster price tag on this. I mean, you're a guy that's in the space, watches this space. Take-Two Interactive, I mean, this is a social gaming company, Zynga. Is this a way for them to enter the space? Is this an improvement on this space? Talk a little bit, I guess, about what this means for Take-Two as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly, they're going to be able to reach a lot of Zynga's customers, current user base. So this is a great way for them to get some of their titles onto a mobile platform, but also start to develop new titles for mobile as well. So smart opportunity for them. Certainly, I would say, the one of the biggest acquisitions likely in video game history. I mean, if you look at the Microsoft Bethesda deal, that was what, $7.5 billion. So, certainly beating out that one, and then obviously Tencent's acquisition of Supercell, or at least a majority acquisition for Supercell for $8.5 billion. So definitely putting taking that record and just absolutely smashing it. So will be interesting to see what happens now. I'm kind of excited for this. I'd like to see what Take-Two comes up with in the mobile space.
It's going to be interesting for both. I was just double checking here. Yes. So if anyone out there is a shareholder of Zynga, you're going to get $3.50 in cash per share, plus $6.36 worth of Take-Two shares to go along with that will come into your account. So big deal, obviously, in this space today. The other, kind of major headline, or somewhat major headline this morning, Justin, going to be on the crypto side of things. This slide continues that has kind of taken over since the latter half of last year into the beginning now weekend change of 2022. So crypto continues to be under pressure.
Bitcoin dropping to 40, well, I guess below 40K now. So not sure what's going on there, but will be interesting to see how that all goes. So, we were talking about this just before the show, and certainly this has to do with higher interest rates. But also, if you take a look at stocks in tech and software, those are also down as well this morning. So certainly that's not what's driving it. Definitely the higher interest rate environment is a big driver in that. But tech stocks just generally are down today. So
yeah, a lot of leverage obviously in the crypto markets as well being used. So not good if you are leveraged very, very high, and then they start increasing the cost of said leverage. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World Marketing Guy. Pleasure as always. Thank you, sir. At Trader TV Justin. Check him out on Twitter, guys. Let him know what you would like to know more about, and he will find out. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Brendan.
There we go, guys. A little bit more on that Take-Two. Huge deal today.
Yes, sir. Jay Kizzle killing it over there. Of course, bringing you some different color and making sure you understand the structure of that deal. Anytime people see a gap up and a follow through with volume like that, you might think it's one thing, but every deal has different structure. And sometimes if it's all stock, it's simple. If it's all cash, it's simple. In between can get a little bit hairy there, but it's a big one to say the least. Someone just said DWAC broke 57.40 going to 60. I'm going to say the same thing I said before. Again, I'm day trading it, so when it failed at 58, this is all about playing off of that level. But we were trading this, and I didn't win. It's not even showing my trades here, but I had a long in the pre-market on Friday after the gap. Well, it was the run, and then I guess it was gapping to the downside in DWAC, and it tried to get through 58. And I know this because sitting here watching it fail at that price at $58. So it has to chew through this. Maybe this is now going to give you that 58 break. I've already scalped some out like 50 pennies, and I'm going to look for a retracement back into 55 for the rest. Either that or it breaks 58 even. So now it's binary. I'm either getting out in front of 55 or it's going to break that 58. And if it does, I think it has a decent chance to run. And if it breaks 58, Funware is probably going to be able to go too. So if you're watching that, then make sure you're watching the other. If you're into DWAC, if you're into Funware, make sure you're watching DWAC because it's probably going to lead it. But 58 to me is that key price. For now, going to stay patient. Someone asked, was I reloading Tesla? And I said, nope. Actually accidentally stopped into a short at 1,000. It would have worked, but I took it off because I didn't want that trade. With the market still holding low at this time of day, the break, at least the attempt to break back out on Tesla, hold a wick bottom to 1,000 and then go long to 1,000, it worked, but it couldn't break out of the pre-market top range there at 1,013 to 1,025. And if it's not going to do that, I'm not going to fight it. It still has a chance that if it bounces back above, you can maybe get a 1,020 breakout later in the day if the market wants to hold those lows. But there is no fighting the trend, not in today's action. You can pick your spots for the longs, get in, get out, and that's how you survive when the market's coming down like this. Just sort of grabbing it and holding it usually gets you into trouble. But that whole scalp game in and out, keeping to tight stops or sort of scalping it while maintaining a core position, those are the strategies that work if the market is in a rebound like this. So DWAC's what's on my mind. Tesla's on the back of my mind here, but that 58, if it breaks, I'm kind of, right now I'm not reversing into a long, but the more higher lows it puts in here, I might take a scalp long and then just see if I can't get it out in front of like 58, 50, and then 59, and then 60, 3 legs that way. But for now, I'm just hanging on to the short. 58 is a key price. And watch out, the spread is usually 20 to 40 cents on this stock. So be careful with the spread.
Okay, so a funny thing happened there. If you guys are trading Ford, you would know what we're talking about there. I don't know what this... We were waiting at 65. It absolutely ripped up to 65 there for no reason, from 42 up to 65. We took out half, then we reloaded it back down here at 44, and then it took out 40, and we got out of everything. So right now we're out of Ford. It is a negative stock for us today. So we'll go, wow, what a good move that was on Ford to get us out of a little bit there before retesting back. So that's, for me, that's fine, even though that's we lost 4 cents there. We made back like 20 cents on this move. I have no idea why that just happened. Obviously, I'd love to still be in it, but it went up and then just crashed down just as fast there. So Ford with a little bit of a funky move. I think we want to get longer now in the 40s for sure, as it looks like Ford right there, a nice little resistance off that move. So no idea where that came from. That was nuts. Thank you to Justin for coming through as well. Lots of information there. Zenga. Yeah, I never played Farmville or anything like that, but definitely a very, very popular name. And yeah, wow, good buy there for Take-Two, probably on a depressed asset. And a depressed asset right now, we just could have, again, it went right back up to 127 on us, which put us again another 20 cents in the money. But AMD right near a tipping point one more time here, trying to take out 126. The bottom is 126.20. We're almost there again. So yuck. We've been able to survive today. I don't really know how, but it's just quickly in and out. Let's go over to Brendan for the last update here with only 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, quickly, we'll touch on currency markets here, guys. An important day, obviously, for the ones at the bottom of the list here. Cryptocurrencies under pressure continues. 40,000 held. Obviously, we're back to 40,800. Ethereum, though, right now at 3,000. So this is 3,000 going back to the move up. We had a very, very key level, obviously, for ETH needing to hold. Ripple under pressure as well. Otherwise, U.S. dollar very strong on the day to kick things off this week. Not very strong, but 0.3. So everything else basically 0.3 or more to the downside. No significant news driving this. Swiss franc is higher, notably 0.7. Everything else, as I mentioned, under pressure top to bottom, with the U.S. dollar still strong, guys.
Yeah, I was just saying there, like, I just got stopped at a DWAC at that 58. So overall, it'll be a positive trade, nowhere near as good as it could have been. But when a 58 was on the offer and it was breaking that level, the bid was at 57.60. Like, the bid wouldn't even tick up higher. I'm kind of kicking myself because that was a shot where I could have said to myself, well, if it breaks out and then the bid doesn't follow, which it absolutely did not. It was immediately back below 58, and then the bid was 57.50. I could have tried to get back in short at like in front of 58 even, but that looks like a failed breakout. And you have to look, the way I look at it, when you're trading a name that has the risk of like breaking that 58, churning through 60 and halting upside on you, you've got to be able to maintain your stop. But that looks like it was a bit of a fail break. And it's that spread that gets you once again. Sometimes the spread can be a pretty large hint. No one on that 58 break, outside of stop orders, I think was trying to buy that. Obviously, I had a stop order, so you can see me execute, but a lot of times that's a failed breakout. We'll see if it gives another chance off that 58 level, but I'll walk away from it sort of happy that we stayed disciplined in DWAC, and I'm sure Funware made a nice little pop there when 58 got taken out, so hopefully that worked out for you. Just still in Tilray, an hour, those two shorts. Tilray looks like, with the market continuing to hold those lows, we're holding below VWAP now. I'm going to cancel that offer. And just sort of see if it gets down to that $7 range. If it tests, say, $7.20, $7.25, and barcode's long enough, I might consider taking it out there. But, breaks towards 8, gives you the lower high consolidation, and then straight into VWAP, and now possibly the continuation. But remember, this is still good. It's a good news day for Tilray. If it holds $7 long enough, it has a decent shot that this could be a runner in the afternoon. So in the back of my mind, I don't want to give away all of these profits. Only 2.5 minutes to go. Wow, this day it's flown by this morning, to be sure. And I think when the market's moving like this, that's what's going to happen for you. Of course, we all wish Miss V the best. I think she's been monitoring the chat at least a little bit at home. In a couple of minutes, we are throwing you to Trader Prad. Or I always say Trader Prad, but just Prad for the Midday Movers show. And there's a lot moving here today, especially that BBLG, which is still looking pretty active.
Yeah, we got some out of the way here on AMD. Just it came right back up, so we took some 40s. We're long 80s, so we took a 40-cent hit there. It's the same win that we had here, 127.27 up to 67 or so. Or sorry, yeah, 67. So 40 cents. Yeah, right. So there it is. Now it's starting to come back to the upside right here. So we're still very, very positive on AMD today, but I did want to take some risk off right there. Hopefully we can get a bouncing spot now on this name, Neo Fun. Oh yeah, by the way, we did take a little bit of a winner on Funware there. We got out at 83. We didn't wait for 85. We'll wait for that. Brendan, quickly?
SRPT, no news yet. We'll let you know. Actually, as I say that, there's a few things coming out. Their gene therapy SRP 9001 shows statistically significant functional improvements compared to pre-specified matches. I'll go through this, guys, and pick out what you need to know. But looks like that has come out for SRPT as I was up doing that currency segment. I want to mention this as well. The index, the NASDAQ index, guys, just passing. This is a little bit delayed, it looks like, but just passing the 10% mark from the highs. So officially correction territory for the NASDAQ index at this point.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's getting corrected pretty well right now off of some of these bottoms. So I don't know. And I think it's time to buy, but you guys make your own opinions.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, look, you've had 10% pullbacks in some quality names already, so it is starting to get to that point. I just wanted to, we got the super chat, and thank you, Hunter, for putting it for Sarepta Therapeutics there. But anyone can always check out NASDAQtrader.com for the halt page. If you are in something that's halted, or you're looking for momentum names that might halt or have already that day, just check out that page. It's a great resource. It's already saying the resumption time, 11:10. That's where you can find that info. And it is almost on the dot. It's been a wild Monday. This day is not done. We're back at 2 o'clock. But right now, it is time to send you to the Midday Movers. Parade, go get them.
Welcome. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. How you guys doing? Hope you guys had a great weekend. Obviously, we miss Miss V, not here. And when she's here, we're going to have fun again the whole time. Today, let's dive right into the market. Currently looking at some stocks to take some trades. Don't really have any positions open other than Roblox that I just got into a Roblox short. I'm only giving it till the 81.55 break. There's tiny size on the 81.50, not much there. Obviously, I got to show you guys at least one trade where I traded poorly, right? So Rivian, I had the 82 short, and once again, I traded it horribly. I'm up on it, but I should be up way more than I am